Assessors according to law. So help me God.
It's happened before, but it is nonetheless still rather extraordinary that somebody who was only elected or officially sworn in as an MP less than 24 hours ago, in 3 weeks' time, is going to be running the country.
Yes, I think it is rather extraordinary. I think the issue isn't whether someone like that should automatically have to hold a general election. If Andy Burnham wants to introduce major changes to our constitution, he's talked about overhauling the House of Lords. He's also talked about overhauling our electoral system, bringing in some form of PR. I think if he wants to do any of those things, he needs a mandate from the public to do them. To try and do them without calling an election, I think, would be a constitutional outrage.
I've got an interesting tweet. There's always a tweet, Julia.
Yep.
If I can just read this out to you from Andy Burnham 3 years ago. We need to start demanding a general election at the end of this Tory leadership election. Well, well, well. That was Andy Burnham actually 4 years ago in 2022. So we're saying stick by your word, be consistent, Andy, and when you're Prime Minister, call a general election.
The battle is really on, though, for number 11. Who's going to be the Chancellor? Ed Miliband, don't forget, has played an integral key role in this coup, and it is a coup because no one apart from 25,000 good people of Makerfield have voted for this guy. Yeah. So he's played a pretty integral role in undermining Keir Starmer. Keir Starmer and Ed Miliband aren't really speaking. He's going to want a big reward. But, he is, probably the most left-wing person in the government, and he will spook the markets.
Lou Hay, I mean, the reality is, look, she served her time. She was cast out of government. The reality is, as you said, she has been central to his campaign. She was central to his campaign in Makerfield. More broadly, she's been central to his campaign to enter Downing Street. He owes her, and she will definitely get a role. I'm not.
What do you say to the people that have texted me in their droves this morning? This is a really corny sentence, but it's true. That lawbreakers can't be lawmakers, Dan?
Yeah, I mean, but the reality is she's going to get a job. So the answer is yes, they can.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
Welcome along, just gone 6 o'clock. The light is shining on my face. Can we bring that down? I can't see anything. I do apologise. Welcome to Friday. This is Jeremy Carr, live and exclusive on Talk Breakfast, the home of common sense and the home, of course, of alarm clock Brits. We're at the end of the hottest week in the history of hot weeks. Did you sleep? I was sweating. I can't even tell you. It's ludicrous. Hinge is here. Charlie Rowley, straight away. Did we get a memo about wearing the same clothes?
Well, yeah. No, who knows? This is the Friday uniform.
Yes, it is. Could you do it one of the buttons? Because this is not dress-up Friday. If you're tuning in, I've decided to have a bit of fun, OK? And we will still talk politics and the stuff that's happening in the world with the royal family and with the heat. But you know what? It has been a bloody hard week for so many people. So, by popular demand, because we did this once when there was local elections on and it went nuts. It's Fun Time Friday. You can decide the topics. Really, it might be to do with news or politics. It might be something else. Did you meet your partner at work? How much did you sweat in bed last night? Have you ever met your neighbours? I don't know. Do what you want. How did you keep cool in the night?
I didn't. Like most of the
Wet
UK.
towels on certain appendages?
No wet towels.
Nothing.
I was tossing and turning all through the night.
Did you have anything on you?
I did, actually. Yes, I do wear...
No, I meant a sheet. I don't want to know about your personal...
No. I like the feel of the sheets against my skin.
Is it? There's the first question of the day. How many of us this week have slept naked? Is this a regular thing and is it acceptable? 0344 499 1000 87222. Is it acceptable to sleep naked? At which point, of course, the legend Damon walks in and goes, ha ha ha, G-Spot still on the team. We call him G-Spot because we can never find him. He's just walking in, I'm always naked, me. That's a good start, isn't it? How many people slept naked? 0344 499 1000, text to 87222. On a serious note, a couple of things in the papers to give you an idea of what you'd like to talk about. Wildfires burn in the Peak District as Britain records hottest June day again. I think it was like 37, 38. Red weather warnings extended to today. Did you sleep /naked? I can't wait to ask Sir Ian Duncan Smith. I bet nobody's ever asked Sir Ian Duncan Smith if he, in fact, slept naked last night. Also, a serious story. Front page of the Mail, which we'll discuss with Charlie. They're at it again. Labour to free waves of killers and rapists early, just to give the impression that there's more prison space. I respectfully say, why don't you just build some more prisons? Cut the welfare benefits bill and build some more prisons, Mr Burnham. We've moved on from Starmer. Who's he? And the King and Queen, this is a big, big story. Kins will be on. The buck stops here. Great headline on the front of the Sun with Ed Southgate. Basically, the King and Queen has quit the palace, a £369 million refurb. They will live down the road on the left of the Mall, St James's Palace. No, it was, where the old man worked for 40 years. Buckingham Palace will be used for ceremonial reasons only. The truth is that a lot of the newspapers aren't reporting, the Sun are, is that it will be open to the public, and is the King doing his bit to try and raise a bit of money. So all the people who go, oh, it's a big building, it's not big... Why am I talking like that? It's not being used. He's trying to modernise the monarchy. Your thoughts on that? 0344 499 1000. There's a bit of a furore at the Home Office. You could imagine that they've come up with an idea to stop the boats. No. Mike Tapp, who's a junior minister, wrote an unauthorised article. He's a Starmer loyalist. And Shabana Mahmood is trying to get him sacked. And Starmer said, you can do one, love. I think it's... So many of them are like rats in a shipwreck. They're all trying to work out how they can get the job they want. Oh, good. And over half of Brits say there must be an immediate general election if political parties force their leader out. It is 6 minutes past 6. It's Fun Time Friday. Whatever you want to talk about, 0344 499 1000. Good morning, Charlie Rowley.
Good morning, Jeremy Kyle. Thank you for having me.
Yes. How are you?
I'm very well. I'm very well. It is hot out there. It has been too hot. I'm over it now, I have to say.
Well, it's been extended, this weather, of course, for London for one more day. Although I live down on the coast, it was a little bit... It was raining this morning when I rose.
Good heavens.
Yes, I think they're saying there are storms on the way. Don't know where you are in the UK this morning. Wherever you are in the UK, how hot is it? Is the weather turned? Did you sleep naked? And how did you keep cold? Did you ever think you'd be on talking about whether you... Did you sleep naked last night?
I didn't, actually. I do have... they're not pyjama bottoms, they're shorts. Loose shorts.
Loose?
Very loose.
Why loose?
Well, because I think that's more helpful and conducive to sleeping in these hot conditions, having a bit of... You wouldn't wear a tight...
So when Jacob Rees-Mogg yesterday on this show went viral for doing a Scottish impression and did the following, there's a moose loose about this hoose, he was talking about you and your loose-fitting shorts, was he?
I wondered if he'd been peeping through my net curtains.
Net curtains, 0344 499 1000. Let's just talk about the week that was. Apart from this extraordinary heatwave, which I think I was saying to my wife last night, would we be talking about this like 76 in 20 years' time, or will this become the norm? Because I'm buying aircon. I don't give a toss about Ed Miliband. I can't be doing with it. I was sweating. Honestly, it was dripping off me.
Well, can you imagine if he had his way?
Sorry, hold on a second. I have AC upstairs, but not downstairs. I'm not doing it now. I want AC throughout. What do you mean I sleep downstairs? I said there's air... So I'm having an argument with Christian on air. Christian, who's dressed in a suit today because he's on his way to court. We don't quite know what the charge is. Anyway, no, AC upstairs, not downstairs. But sitting downstairs, trying to, you know, watch my huge television or anything like that, is very, very hot and sticky.
Oh, you're talking to me now?
Yes, I am. Sorry, I do apologise.
Well, you looked at me when you said that. Yeah. I wonder what... Yeah. Well, look, I mean, can you imagine, under his way, if these hot conditions continue summer after summer, I mean, we'd be living just by fans, you know, like handheld fans. I mean, you wouldn't be allowed any kind of...
Could you do that action again?
handheld
This show started and it's not going to get any better.
So I think I'd invest in a bit of AC.
Although Ed Miliband, of course, thinks it's horrific. Let's get straight to politics. It's been an extraordinary week. It started with Keir Starmer as the Prime Minister of this country, and it's finished with him serving popcorn at the cinema for VAT tourist attraction deals. Have a look at this. This is our Prime Minister. The jobs market's hard, isn't it, under Reeves? Have a look.
Right. Shall we serve some up?
Yes.
Right.
We've got a scoop in here for you.
Fantastic.
And then just behind you here. Get some popcorn in my box.
Right, it's as if I've been doing it for years. Right, who wants the first one? Here we go. Look at that. Do you think that's enough in that? Or do you need to put more? Are you sure?
That's fine.
That's a lot, isn't it?
Yeah.
What's your favourite film? Ah, yeah. Who else hasn't got one? Come forward. What's your favourite film? Resignation, yeah, it is. That's provocative when you're being said by an Arsenal fan.
I mean, bless him. He started the week as the Prime Minister and he's finished the week serving popcorn. That proves three things to me. The jobs market's not great. He's crap at everything he does, isn't he? And I was waiting for one of the kids to go, what's your favourite film? Confessions of a Window Cleaner, to be honest, or Caligula 3 or something like that. Why are you asking that question? He can't win, bless him. And I'm quite sad. No, I don't mean sad. I feel quite sorry for him when he said, I'm going to stay on as an MP. Why? Because nobody's going to talk to you, are they?
Yeah, I mean, I think, no, I mean, what's hilarious about that clip, he said, you know, it looks as if I've been doing this for years. I've got news for you, Prime Minister. It doesn't.
No.
You know, you've never done that in your life.
No.
But yeah, I mean, he tried. I mean, I forgot, actually, as probably many people did, that this is part of their whole relief on VAT for some of these activities for people. For
VAT cut on tourist attractions.
Absolutely. And
bang it on private schools, you spiteful class warriors, according to Kebby Badenoch, but don't worry about tourist attractions.
Quite right, too. And you've got to call it out for what it is. And you know, I don't think Kemi was calling, just while we're on the subject, I don't think Kemi was calling Bridget spiteful as a person, but her actions of what she has done, taking away that VAT relief, which is only now just flooded. More
she's on fire. I mean, she was on fire, Badenoch. It's just that the brand is still toxic. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely true. I think that's absolutely true. But the poor old Prime Minister can't, you know, for now, can't get a break. I mean, I would have just thought, well, A, don't be doing this if you're trying to promote that VAT. I mean, and don't do a William Hague going down the slide of Thorpe Park, you know, get your hair wet wearing a cap or anything. Do something, maybe something in between. But I just would have thought he's serving out his last few weeks, let's be honest.
Could be as soon, I was reading overnight, as July the 16th. The Labour National Executive declare Andy Burnham unopposed as the Labour leader and thus the Prime Minister. I saw a video of Andy Burnham heading back up to Manchester for weekend. Just a terrible impression. It's been an extraordinary week. It is almost unheard of that within the space of 5 days, without even nominations opening, that this man, the self-styled King of the North, and I'm a patriot. I don't think it'll work because socialism never works, but there will be a bounce, there will be a honeymoon period. They've all rallied behind him because they, I suspect, believe that he could save their careers. I think their brand is as toxic, and I think it will unravel pretty quickly. But listen, he's done a job, hasn't he?
Yeah, totally. And look, I think it's a lesson to, you know, all political parties, everybody looking at this, you know, you shouldn't over-celebrate the successes and you shouldn't underplay or over-dramatise the defeats or the...
What sort of Prime Minister do you think Burnham will be? It's not going very well this morning. Come on.
I just think he's a much better communicator, obviously, than Keir Starmer, so he'll be able to communicate a message, and that's half the battle, right? Whatever it is you're trying to do, you've got to make it clear to the public what you're doing and why you're doing it.
Do you think he can turn the Labour Party round, yes or no?
No.
No,
not
at all.
Not at all. I think that when you see the rot that is set in the Labour... Because I saw this in the Tory party, you know, they just will not be satisfied, and they will always be... Look at them now, all getting behind him in that selfie. They all want a job.
Yeah.
And he's got to upset, you know, over 300 of them, because he's only got jobs for, you know, well, about a handful of those in the cabinet, and then junior ministers...
They are all like rats in a sinking ship, all rushing around trying to shoot guns at each other, I suspect, bullets at each other to try and get a job. One person tried to do an audition live on television yesterday. This is brilliant, by the way. I should have talked about this earlier. The British Chamber of Commerce welcomed the Chancellor of the Exchequer, the Right Honourable... what's her name again? Rachel Thieves, Richard III. She malfunctioned is the best way I can describe it. Have a watch, have a listen.
What would your advice be to anyone in the future taking on the role as Chancellor?
I'm not sure if anyone wants my advice.
So you've already accepted that you're not in the... What's that all about? But she did manage to find her tongue to admit that she loves Andy Burnham, has always loved Andy Burnham, and has been a friend of Andy Burnham's for as long as you could imagine. Back to Miss Robot.
I'm backing Andy Burnham to be our next Prime Minister. I've known Andy for, well, 16, 17 years now. He's a good friend of mine. But any choices for the new Prime Minister will be their choices to make, including who's in the Cabinet.
Would you accept another job in his Cabinet?
Well, look, those are choices that the new Prime Minister, I hope Andy Burnham, will get to make in a few weeks' time. I'm not going to preempt those. It's his prerogative as Prime Minister to make those appointments. But I'm really proud of my record as Chancellor.
Sorry, what part of the record do you think she's proud of as Chancellor? Sorry, what? Genuinely, Charlie Rowley, let's get... For only a few seconds, let's get serious. What has she done bar destroy the British economy?
Well, if I'm trying to be fair and honest, as you say, think about it, she will be able to point to things that are not in her control, but she thinks because it's the Treasury that they are in her control.
What?
So even though I don't think we've seen a slightest bit of growth at all, but the stats will tell us that we're the fastest growing economy in the G7, which is a good thing compared to our French and German counterparts, which is even more of a reason not to get even closer with them, by the way.
Isn't the cost of energy in the Western world because we've got a mad net zero secretary in theory and no businesses have been grown and NI charges on businesses have doubled or whatever it is, and that has caused mass redundancies, mass unemployment and mass failure. She's been a complete failure.
There's no doubt about it. She has held the economy back. It has not been... she's not done anything that the government said that they were going to do at the last general election.
Nothing.
Growth was their big...
and you talk about...
idea,
do you know what I was thinking? What you just saying about communication? You put her and Starmer together. I mean, they are appalling communicators, aren't they?
Absolutely.
Do you think Rachel Reeves slept naked last night? It's Fun Time Friday. Morning, Rob.
Morning, Jez. Morning, Charlie. Rob on his way to work. You're saying, did I sleep naked? The answer is no, and I'll tell you why. I've got a face for radio and a body that's fit for pathology. Mate, sweating? Good God. Sweating like a fat bloke in a chip shop with no money. This weather's unbelievable, pal. We should all be enjoying it. Make hay while the sun shines. Unfortunately, I'm going to work for another day of graft. So by the time I come home, I'm going to be an absolute mess. But I don't care, because I'll have a cold beer and toast my country that I love. See you later, boys.
How good is he every day?
And that's the spirit, I think, you know.
Listen to Charlie, and that's the spirit, I think
it is, isn't it? Even at the end
it's just a commercial.
But do you not think at the end of what's been a torrid week...
It's been a torrid week.
He still wants to go home and toast this country. This country can be great. It can be great.
And we can do all this serious stuff, but did you sleep naked? 03444 499 1000, text to 87222. Morning, Ches. Charlie, you really do need to stop rummaging through Jez's wardrobes for your clothes. You two look like a junior doctor. No, you look like a junior doctor and he looks like an aging consultant, says Paul in Itching.
Well...
He is my small deputy. Peter says, most wildfires are caused by those bloody disposable barbecues. I completely agree. How irresponsible are people to go into forests and have barbecues? I live on the edge of the New Forest. Stupid.
Now, is that what's happened in Derbyshire?
I don't know, you just made the point.
Oh, right.
Let's get back to the real news. Carl, I slept naked with the curtains pinned back. Nosy neighbours may have seen me when the sun was coming up, but they'll be more bothered about that than me.
Well, yes. It
See?
Might, yeah.
I'm 70. I slept naked, says Sarah Bird. It's so hot, and frankly, I don't care.
There you go. I mean, it certainly puts off the neighbours, wouldn't it? If you don't like your neighbours, they won't come back. They won't come knocking at your door asking for a cup of sugar.
Always difficult when that happens, isn't it? When the curtains are open and somebody can have an eyeful. Peter's back to the serious news. This is what's going to happen today. It's going to be like this. Do you think Starmer made those kids pay double for that popcorn? Probably. Probably. Good morning, Louis. She says Starmer should just go on gardening leave. He's a bloody embarrassment. He's going to get 160 grand a year as a pension for his Prime Minister for the rest of his life. Roger from Wales, if my kids came home and said they accepted popcorn off an old man in glasses, they'd be grounded for a fortnight. How was it at the cinema? Well, this man, there was a cameraman taking pictures of this old man serving us free popcorn, and he said, "What's your favourite film, little person?"
Sweet or salty?
Honestly,
popcorn.
Stop
popcorn.
it.
What do you prefer? That's the question. That's the question he was
He's being naughty. Morning, Jess. Morning, Charlie. If I went to a cinema and saw Starmer serving popcorn, I'd go home and read a bleeding book, says Jules in London. Graham's a painter. Here's a question. Would the paint even dry this week? It's been that sticky.
That is a good question. And I've done multiple DIY jobs.
Have you? You've whitewashed a few walls, I imagine.
I couldn't tell you what happens to paint. Can it be too hot to paint?
Oh, I don't know. He'll let me know. Graham the Painter. Morning, Jez. I've been painting windows outside in Huddersfield for the last few days. You should have seen all the dead legs on benefits walking about. It made me really angry. Oh, interesting. Joanna's from Salisbury. Hi, Jez. How are Charlie? Walked the dogs at 4:30 a.m. Cool. Slept on the sofa, the coolest place. I was going to do that, but I couldn't decide which sofa to sleep on last night, so I ended up going to one of the spare rooms. That was I didn't know whether to sleep which sofa. You see what I mean? Difficult. Jezza and Charlie. I'm getting a great insight, says Margaret in Birmingham, to Charlie's flat. Hides in the bedroom, likes the feel of sheets, likes the feel of sheets, slightly worried, likes the feel of sheets and sleeps in shorts, but has Charlie got a pussycat yet? Where's that come from?
I haven't got... I think I talked about it before. I was either in the market for getting a cat or a dog, because I live by myself, as you can probably tell.
Yeah. It's quite sad.
Well...
I wish I lived on my own. I've got 6 children.
You won't get any complaints from me.
Why don't we swap? Why don't you go and bring up 6 children? Do you have a paternal bone in your body?
I do. I've got a niece and nephew who I...
Terrify.
Who one's new, one's Amber.
One's a boy and one's a girl, and they run around a lot and annoy me.
No, we call one Amber and the other one, the spawn of Beelzebub. But there you are. That's it.
Morning, Pete.
Starmer, mate, those kids pay extra for that popcorn. After all, Rachel would demand it, wouldn't it? Tax them kids early. Tax them now. Tax them now. Quick, let's see if we can tax their pocket money as well. Tax them now. Tax. Nothing but tax for Labour. I'll tell you what with him, right? Serving up popcorn was too good for him. He needs to be in McDonald's doing a shift, doesn't he, right? Because it won't be the Big Mac he's getting, right? It'll be the value meal. It's probably with him, though, isn't it? It isn't value, is it?
I honestly, there's no sympathy. And actually, I had this discussion earlier in the week. I don't have any sympathy for Keir Starmer. I genuinely don't. I watched the tears and I watched people say, you know, it was a decent thing to do. I heard Piers Morgan say that. But the truth is this. There were no tears for the pensioners. There were no tears for the farmers that took their lives, or the soldiers who have been bloody persecuted by his government, him and Irma. No tears for waspy women. No tears for... What about the grooming gang victims? No sign of a grooming gang inquiry. I don't mean being serious for a minute, but it's true. So, you know, just get out as soon as you can. Oh, Lord, I've got this terrible thought. Jezza, downstairs with his aircon on, sitting there in his underpants, watching something dodgy on his huge telly. I don't wear underpants. George...
But you do
I went Commander for 17 years.
But you do have a huge telly.
Thank you. Jeremy, the longer this heatwave goes on, the bigger the gap will become for childbirths in the future, as nobody will be having sex, says George in Leicester.
Well, unless...
Unless what?
Unless you're Scottish and you've been in Boston, I think, for the last week. That's what I've been detecting from all this World Cup business. All the Tartan Army that have gone out to Boston, and they've gone down a storm in America, apparently. They've got on very well with the locals. Very well with the locals. Are you
implying that certain Scottish people have been having relationships with Americans?
I think that MAGA phrase is now, you know, it's gone from make America great again to make America ginger again. I think that's what's going to happen. In 9 months' time, I think we should go to Boston and see just what's happened.
Have you implied that all Scottish people are ginger just then with that comment?
Not all, but I think there's a you know, not all stereotypes are bad ones.
My brother-in-law is ginger, but he refuses to accept it and says that he's strawberry blonde.
Well.
Morning, Jeremy and Charlie. For once, Southern Rail have done something right. Well, there's a train running, is there? Because I didn't invite any. Travelling on a nice aircon train from Croydon. Starmer trying to serve popcorn. Wasn't quite Trump at McDonald's, was it? No, Mark in Croydon, you're absolutely right. 0344 499 1000. You're waking up on Friday the 25th of June. This is Talk Breakfast, the home of common sense, the home of free speech. Listen, there's news. The King and Queen aren't going to live in Buckingham Palace. Britain bakes. The Labour Party are releasing rapists and murderers. There's been a heat wave. But I want to know, did you sleep naked? How did you keep cool? It's Fun Time Friday. You can talk about whatever you want. We do it occasionally because it's not that we've run out creatively of ideas. It's just that it's been a bloody hard slog with all this political stuff and the heat and the looking through the glass at Christian. Morning, Graham.
Morning, Jezza. Morning, Charlie. I live in Northern Ireland. I'm a long-distance truck driver. I drive all around Ireland. Last night, I was parked up in Limerick. Parked up at 6 o'clock and it was 33 degrees. I kept the engine running with the aircon going, and even at 10 o'clock when I went to sleep it was still above 30 degrees. But by that time the cab had cooled down nicely and I was able to sleep. But I feel for other drivers in older vehicles that haven't got aircon. how the hell are you meant to sleep when it's above 30 degrees is just beyond me. But yeah, no doubt if the council knew, they come round and rip the aircon out, but they can go and do one. Have a great show.
Britain has in some respects been the world's most successful country. It's given us the world's common language, the mother of parliaments, the Industrial Revolution, the emancipation of minorities, and yet I think there has been this setting spirit of defeatism and declinism. People like Margaret Thatcher and Tony Blair were exceptions to this. Just contrast, within 48 hours of the invasion of the Falklands, the Royal Navy could assemble some 40 ships to sail to the South Atlantic.
Across the UK. On DAB+. On YouTube. On your mobile. And on your side.
Welcome back, 6:26. It's Friday morning. The heat wave apparently will last for another 24 hours and then it will be done and we'll all be going, it's raining next week. I really miss the sun. Welcome to Talk Breakfast, the home of common sense. What are you waking up to? Well, it's fun time Friday. It's been a hot, sticky, miserable, boring, tedious week. And we've got to Friday. We're going to have a new Prime Minister, Andy Burnham. Keir Starmer has got a new job. If you have just tuning in, yesterday, Keir Starmer went to a cinema, I think it might have been Milton Keynes, where he tried his hand at serving popcorn. Have a watch. Brilliant. Oh, are we hearing?
Yes. Right.
We've got a scoop in.
Do you know what? He can't even do that properly, can he? Even that, right, cut it, even that... Anyway, he basically went to serve popcorn to a bunch of people going to the cinema and said, would you like salty or sweet? And what film is your favourite film? He failed at that miserably. But we got a new Prime Minister allegedly very soon, by maybe July the 16th, Andy Burnham. Front page of The Sun. Buck stops here, a £369 million renovation of the brilliant Buckingham Palace. The King and Queen no longer will be living there. And, of course, everybody on the left is going, you know, oh, this is outrageous, all that money. They're doing it to open it to the public to raise funds. Amazing. I think also the story on the front of the Mail, Labour to free waves of killers and rapists, early criminals guilty of the most serious offences will now be released just halfway through their sentences. Charlie Rowley is here. Let's flip-flop, because we're also talking about the weather and sleeping naked. Let's talk about that Labour story, right? Freeing waves of killers and rapists early, just to tick a box and show that apparently they're dealing with the issues. I've got a real issue with one part of that, well, loads of that story, build more prisons. I don't understand why we say to people in this country, you're going to prison for a year or 10 years or 20 years and we let them out. I believe a sentence should be served as the sentence you're given.
Do you know what? But that's just too much like common sense, Jeremy. That is too... that is too... Oh, that's too obvious, isn't it?
But why has nobody ever said that? Because that makes perfect sense to me. You get 5 years for with a knife. You're doing 5 years.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're not going to pretend or you've turned a corner or... No. you committed a crime, that is what you're doing.
And that's what the public is, and that's why for so long, I mean, it's obviously historic, you know, when some of these laws were created and the way the judicial system has worked, some people have been let out on good behaviour, some people then, have been able to be... I don't care if you've been well behaved. You did something badly wrong and you're going to be punished for it. And I think there's a real conversation about who we should be sending to prison and how people should be sending to prison, or actually are there other ways in which they can repent from their crimes?
No, I'm not with you. That's far too lily-livered for me.
But I think there are some...
I'd increase crimes. For knife crime, 5 years. If you're found with one, you go... I can't bear this weak-willed, lily-livered stuff. I will build more prisons and make the... What was it we were talking about some months ago? You can't call it the police force anymore. I don't give a toss. You should be scared of the police, terrified of the thought of prison, so that you don't commit a crime.
No, I'm totally with you. I am with you on this one, don't get me wrong. I mean, but I do think there are probably some elements of people who are sent to prison, OK, who might be there, who might get a 2-year sentence, but they are out in 6 months. OK. They might have been doing... there might have been a multiple shoplifter, for example, which I'm not saying is a small crime. That is hell on earth for small businesses.
You don't need to worry about qualifying here. But even me at that point, you're shoplifting, you little piece of what's it, you're going to serve 2 years.
But I want also that person who might feel as though actually prison in a funny way, is not the best place for them because...
Oh, we're going to have a deep conversation here.
But I think because they end up...
resenting it
in a gang. Well, no, I think they end up enjoying it too much.
Well, get the mental strength. This would be the other argument, and that's what debate's about. Find something in your head that says that every time I think it's OK to go and nick something, the police are going to put me back in here. So don't join a gang, don't pilfer, go and get a job, turn your bloody life around and stop expecting the rest of us who are living our lives correctly to pay for you. Sorry, I'm really strong on that.
No, I look.
Are we having an argument?
No, there are two. But I think there are two different categories of people. So the hard and fast criminals, the rapists, the murderers, the persistent thieves, they should be in prison, right?
Forever.
But you know, exactly. You get a 10-year, 20-year sentence, or life. Life means life in prison. That's absolutely right. These people should be banged up, throw away the key, they're not coming out, they're a risk to society, end of. But there are a certain group of people who I actually think there is more of a punishment and more, not to humiliate people, that's the wrong word, but there is more of a justice, I think, in seeing someone that might have been a prolific shoplifter, that might have been a young teenage, oik, if you can use that word. Well, I don't mind seeing them in an orange jumpsuit serving popcorn at maybe not popcorn.
In a chain gang
or doing a litter pick, or doing something that is going to absolutely terrify them, rather than actually going into prison feeling like they're Johnny Big whatever, being able to be part of the gang.
Love your thoughts on that. We're disagreeing. No, maybe you're right. I don't know. Your thoughts on that would be great. 0344 499 1000. Text to 87222. But alarm clock Britain after a week of extreme temperatures, miserable news in politics. The big question this morning on Fun Time Friday after the hottest day of the year is, did you sleep naked? Let's just look through the graphs. Christian, did you sleep naked? 90%, I don't know what that means. Jockstrap, probably.
He had a night hat on, a cap on.
Samuel, pushing the buttons. Did you... No, flannelette nightgown. I'm not asking the two ladies who work on the show because that would be disrespectful, and Neha's ignoring me completely anyway this morning. Oh, no, hand up. It's a no. No, it's a no. It's a no. It's a no. I slept stark naked.
Did you?
Without a sheet. I'm sorry. It's... Tommy, good morning.
Morning, Jeremy. Tommy here from Tunbridge Wells. Yes, it was absolutely roasting in the night. I slept naked. I felt like I'd sort of ripped my skin off as well. It was that bloody bad. I slept on the floor in the living room with the balcony doors open. So obviously when I woke up, I expect the people had a lovely view. Anyway, have a good day, Jeremy. Good luck in the heat.
Honestly, sorry, can we... I love the people, the 11 of them that listen. What was that about scraping the skin? What was that?
I think he was so hot. He took all his clothes off, but wanted to take his skin off as well.
Right, okay. A lot of people did that, by the way. Slept in the lounge with the doors open, the windows open. I didn't decide between the front lounge or the... I was just... Sorry, I went to the bedroom. I'm joking. Stephen Paul Lamport. Now, is that Stephen and Paul Lamport, or a man who's got a middle name called Paul? Anyway, or is it Stephen Paul from Lamport? Is Lamport a place? I slept naked last night. I hope I didn't bother the neighbours, but I must have been sleeping I must stop sleeping on the front lawn, says Steve from Aldershot. Oh, lovely. Oh, matron. Jezza, I love Charlie.
Oh.
All right, OK, fair enough. What am I? I'm a message board. Starmer and Reeves should not work in they should work in a waffle shop because they've been waffling for years. Maybe that's a good job for him.
I think so. Well, even then.
What's your favourite waffle?
Yeah.
Morning, Chaz and Jez. Pedicures are great. This is because I said yesterday that I had a pedicure, and men should be able to have a pedicure for their feet, certainly in my age. What are your thoughts on pedicures?
I've had one in my life, yes.
And?
And I might go back.
Yes, good.
But I don't. I'm not against them. But I'm not sure. Why did you feel the need for a pedicure? Were you going on holiday?
Because I spend a lot of time with bare feet around my and my feet. Why are we getting into my? So I love having my and the hot pebbles on your legs and all that sort of stuff. It's brilliant.
Well, if you get
all the skin scraped off.
Well, if you're getting your trotters out.
Getting your trotters out.
You know, on most days, then fine. Of course you want them to look good.
0344 No, I've never had a manicure. Secret. Why would I have a manicure? Oh, I did when I was doing the American show. Yeah, they used to do that all the time. Do you know what they did in America? This is absolutely true. I've been in America doing the Jeremy Kyle show, USA, for 3 weeks, and the whole thing was like just, wow, this is extraordinary. And they said, we're going to a steakhouse tonight in downtown New York City, and there's about 11 people. I didn't even know that. And literally they said, do you know the doctor's coming after the opening course, whatever? A doctor for $150 would give you a vitamin D injection in the body, in the toilets, and they would do this between the first course and the main course. Get you through the next week, smiling. Honestly, I've never... I'm being completely serious. Shooting up... No, I'm being serious. I'm at a vitamin D injection. America's totally different.
Really?
You spend your lunchtime going and having, you know, just say a drip in with makes you feel good. Second day in the office, brain's going at a million miles an hour this morning. It's just...
Between courses.
Literally 5 of us go to the bathroom and give us all an injection, a vitamin D injection. Went upstairs to the office 3 days in. There's my own office, is the Jeremy Kyle show, and I said to this woman, could I, she said, you can't disturb me right now. I said, sorry? She said, I'm just watching my dog. Sorry? I have 20 minutes a day to watch my doggie online on doggy daycare to make sure that she's okay and being looked after, and I have 20 minutes in my schedule to make sure my doggie's okay. Sorry, you're watching your dog being looked after by a dog carer on video. Oh, question from Christian.
Well, yes.
Why am I getting the vitamin D injection in the bathroom? I don't know. That's a very good question. But it's a genuinely true story, and they didn't want to do it in the restaurant.
Well, you wouldn't know, but you know,
I don't want to be eating a steak and see someone's bottom.
Well, a prick in the bottom in the toilets is between courses no bad thing. If you ask me, where else would you do it?
Curtis, good morning.
Morning, Jezza. Curtis from Lingfield here. Loving the show. You should have gone and stayed at Ed Miliband's house last night, because I bet he's got air conditioning in the bedrooms, even the spare ones. Loving the show, mate.
Brilliant. Chaz and Jez, pedicures are great. I was lucky enough to go on a Caribbean cruise, and we had some discount vouchers arrive in the cabin for the onboard spa. So, for a laugh, and no one would know, I decided to have a pedicure. Wow, afterwards it felt like walking on air for a day or two. Keep up the good work, mate. Graham the truck driver. You see, I sleep naked. Nah. Probably not in your truck. I think more men do that than were let on the old pedicure.
I think they do, and I've got nothing against it. Actually,
No.
I think men should take care of themselves, and if they, do you know, I need.
What happened to you? You haven't taken You need your beard trim.
I do. In fact, it's going to come off. I am going to take it off.
I think you look better with it on. Good morning, Pauline from Salford. Yes, I slept naked last night. What's happened to this station? There's much in the news not. It's Fun Time Friday, and we thought we'd just do what we did when the election was on for the local elections. Ask you, the heat that's been so oppressive. Did you sleep naked? How did you keep cool? Pauline says, yes, I did, but would like to apologise to any neighbour who copped an eyeful this morning. I walked into the kitchen naked, the blinds were open, I'd forgotten that I'd spent yesterday taking 18 inches off the height of my garden privet. There's a thought. Morning, H&B. This stands for hinge and bracket. I'm 74 and I slept naked and tripped over twice en route to the bathroom. Off to find a cool pebble, says Jane. Now, when I first read that, I thought, tripped over myself. Wow, that's impressive. But no, she slept over here. Hi, Jez, I was camping and the girls in the next door tent, so they would be sleeping with. John in Blackpool. I can't do that. Oh, God. They'd be letting the air in is the best way to describe that. That's fantastic. Morning, JK and Charlie. No sleeping naked for me, says Sean from Bradwell. Where is Bradwell? No, I'm joking. Starmer and Richard III, more like Laurel and Bleed Nardy. Bit like yourselves, dressing the same, love. It's a bit harsh.
Well, they don't know what we've got from the waist down.
Morning, Jezza and the lovely Charlie. Jez Reeves, bungle by name, bungle by nature. I was waiting for Zippy to appear on stage. Oh, and Get AC. I've had mine for 15 years and I use it all year round down here in the south. And I can highly recommend Diamond AC, says Jason in Pompey, or any other AC company that would like to do us a free deal. Maggie in London. Morning, JK. Starmer trying to do a Trump. We will see him next. What will we see him next? Driving a garbage truck through Birmingham, trying to convince people he has a personality and is human. What a complete and utter idiot. And finally, JK and Charlie. If Starmer does stay on as an MP, wouldn't it be great if he has a complete change of personality and becomes a sort of Dennis Skinner heckler and shouts Mickey-taking comments the whole time and discovers that he's actually all right?
Well, there are two things, actually, which are quite interesting, those texts. First of all, he'd actually be very useful driving a bin truck through Birmingham, because they still need those bins collected.
They do indeed. Still not gone.
And talking of a personality change, this is... I'm just going to throw this to you, because you ignited something in my mind when you were doing accents a second ago and talking about a personality change. That SNP MP, we're talking about Burnham that's come in as an MP.
We did this yesterday.
Oh, you did it yesterday?
Lara Bird. If you have not seen this, ladies and gentlemen, this is the story of another story of the week. Imagine some sort of petulant teenager who's got to be sent to the House of Commons to be sworn in and sort of shimmies in with their head going from side to side. And when you're supposed to raise your hand to swear allegiance to the King and country, and bear in mind you're going to Parliament to earn 100 grand a year, you don't have to do it, but and she did this funny thing with her fingers, which kids do when they're lying. Yeah, whatever. That's what I thought. And then it turns out yesterday we discovered that, in fact, Lara Bird is called Pyralala Bird -leaky. She's a middle-class, privately educated schoolgirl from somewhere in Middle England, and actually speaks like that and puts on the Scottish accents. Genius. Can we dig that out from yesterday? Have you got it ready? Right, we're going to do it for you.
Oh, brilliant.
If you do not know this story, peeps, this is bloody fantastic. This is the new... which way round is it? The English accent first? This is her talking about Palestine, and then suddenly she's a Scottish MP. Have a listen.
It's clearly also not about natural resources, because Greenland have made it clear that if the US want to mine for their natural resources, they can.
I do swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to His Majesty King Charles, his heirs and successors, according to the law, so help me God.
Sorry, what happened there?
She's an absolute charlatan.
Jacob Rees-Mogg said, whatever happens, that is what she'll be known as now.
Absolutely, absolutely. And every time she gets up to ask a question, someone will probably answer in a Scottish accent or try. And
Excuse me, and I got Jacob Rees-Mogg, and I said we were doing Scottish accents, and he said there's a moose loose about this house. That's all he could do.
Well, absolutely.
Jez says, JK. Oh, I don't know who it is. You're putting me off my breakfast. The thought of you naked. I'm sorry. I do apologise. Ash, nice to know he's listening. Morning, Ash.
Morning, Jezza. Ash from Preston. It is currently pouring down and it's thundering and it's absolutely gorgeous. If this is what the weather's like on the south coast at 30-odd degrees quite regularly, you can keep it. Great show. Cheers.
344 499 1000. Text to 87222. This is Talk Breakfast.
across the UK, on DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
I'm sorry, what I love about Alarm Clock Brits is almost everything. Sean, good morning.
Morning, Jeremy. Sean from Grimsby. My daughter, who's 10, obviously at school this week, wasn't allowed to play out during the break time because it was a bit too hot, which I find a bit silly. But, however, I asked her what she did when she come home, and she said, oh, we have to stay inside on tablets. And I was like, well, what was you doing on your tablets? And she said, oh, they was letting us watch YouTube. So the teachers are letting them do the very same thing that the government wants to ban. Let them play outside, mate. Great show.
There was a big debate as well about should kids' schools close. I was very honest about my grandson who's got a few little issues, and in a city centre school that was 40 degrees, concrete jungle and 36 kids, he just wouldn't cope with that, so I completely accept that. But 1976, we went to school every day. Now, Charlie, we're going to speak to Kinsey in just a second, but I want a straight face during this text. Good morning to Paul from Astley, near Lee, Burnham, ex-parish. Like most people in the UK, I slept naked in my front garden. But this morning I found Jack the local sparrow trying to catch the early worm. Luckily, an early morning breeze caused the worm to retreat into the undergrowth to survive another day. So it's fun time Friday. Let's cross to somewhere that is always hot. Los Angeles, the city of dreams. Good morning, Kinsey Schofield.
You are an HR violation waiting to happen this morning.
It's been very hot here, Kins, and we've all had to take measures that are necessary, really. And a lot of people have slept outside. A lot of people have doused themselves in wet towels. I mean, what's the temperature in LA, babe?
It's warm. You know what I do? Because we don't have air conditioning near the beach. I sleep with bags of frozen peas.
See? Now, you see, who knew? Right, hold on a second. Why frozen peas? Why not, say, ice? What is it about peas that you want to sleep with, and how many bags of peas? And where do you put the peas?
All around, but my dogs love them too. So it's like me and my dogs.
You're lying somewhere in California, whether or not you're clothed, surrounded by bags of peas and dogs.
It's very comfortable.
How many dogs are there?
4.
4 dogs?
Yeah, I'm an animal hoarder.
I know, well, that's good, but in the bed with you, 4 dogs?
Of course, but they are like teeny tiny dogs.
Oh, handbag dogs.
100%. Look at me. Yes, of course.
And this is brilliant. Peas. I love it. But we're a bit...
Ice is sharp, you know? Like, ice is sharp. Peas are comfortable.
Right. So the old story about the princess and the pea, that was about you, right?
It was.
And you would feel a pea through the mattress. We love having you on, my darling. There is, actually, I have to say, for us... Oh, by the way, I had your producer on, asking if I would deign to be on your channel when you come over next.
Well, I hope you gave a proper yes.
I did indeed. I haven't discussed the fee yet. Right. Front page of The Sun. And I'm really, really outspoken on this, not because I want to, because it burns inside me. Front page of The Sun. King and Queen to quit Buckingham Palace. Charles reveals his tax bill. £369 million refurb complete on Buckingham Palace, Kins. They are saying that they will continue to live just down the road in Clarence House, where the old man worked for years. And Buckingham Palace will be open to the public. And what needs to be said repeatedly to everybody who's going, oh, all that money, and they're not living there, it's going to make its own money by being opened up to the public, because it is utterly fascinating, that building. I think, hurrah, well done to both of them. That's my thought.
Totally agree. And, you know, Queen Elizabeth didn't really want to live in Buckingham Palace. It was Churchill that encouraged her to live there. It is this beautiful symbol. It's, you know, you haven't been to London unless you've witnessed it outside of your, you know, whether you're on a bus or whether you're in a taxi, you see that beautiful building, and everything just makes sense. But I go whenever I'm able to. They have, dedicated times that tourists can walk through it. I go every time. I always learn something new. It's a beautiful venue. They will continue to use it for official engagement. So if they're hosting somebody like an American president, or if there is any important event, once renovations are done, that will continue to be the HQ,
Absolutely.
the headquarters. And so it still is going to be walked through, loved. People are going to learn about its history. I think it's going to continue to be an incredibly valuable asset. And there's no reason to criticize King Charles's decision to stay put. I mean, he's ill, he's comfortable, and he works his tush off. Leave him alone.
Completely agree with you. Of course, this morning, some sort of comments about the royal family public funding set to double to 100 million by 2028. I'm going to do it again, but I'm not trying to jump in. The royal family gets something called the civil list, for people who don't know, which is money from the government. And they did a deal years ago in return for land that was given back to the government and to the country. I'll tell you this about the Queen Mother. My father stopped working for the Queen Mother about 4 years before her death. I couldn't give you exactly what that date was, but even at that time, what she was getting from the civil list did not meet the expenditure on the houses that she had, Castle of May and Clarence House. I think people need to understand, looking at the pomp and ceremony there, people need to understand. I understand that there's been terrible things with Andrew Mountbatten, and there's been big criticisms and more transparency. The monarchy does more financially for Great Britain PLC than anything else, and it still does it, doesn't it, Kins?
Well, and if you talk to anybody that is in the United States that's curious about what's currently going on with your prime minister, your current prime minister, what the royal family brings value-wise is that stability and that continuity that you don't get right now through your government. I mean, do taxpayers not feel some sense of ease knowing that they know exactly who they're going to see on that balcony when they don't know who's going to be in number 10 2 weeks from now, 6 months from now? I think that the royal family is an incredibly valuable asset. We saw it with King Charles's trip to Washington, D.C. this year, and through his relationship with President Trump, who loathes Keir Starmer, and Donald Trump and King Charles had not only a great visit, but I think that the king managed to calm some pretty intense difficulty between your previous prime minister and our current president.
Couldn't agree more. The other news story, and you and I will be one on that, is Harry and Meghan. I was watching Piers Morgan yesterday, and he absolutely unleashed, and I bought every word because it's what I'd said for weeks since I heard this news. There's rumours this morning they might set film for whatever they're filming for during a secret visit to Diana's graveside, but despite all that, the hypocrisy of coming back to play we're still part of something you slagged off, called racist, you've used for your own financial gain, to then weed your way back in on the basis of your dad being ill and trying to do the right thing, I think is despicable. I think the country and the world know exactly who they are. I'm 100% behind William, who wants nothing to do with his brother, and I honestly, to me, it's a car crash waiting to happen. I suspect that everything that happens will be filmed and reported and let out via a source, which the royal family should never allow to happen again.
Well, look, you're a grandfather. When it's Christmas time or when something special happens and your grandchildren see you, how often do your children pull out their camera because they want to capture that sweet moment of them throwing their arms around you? I think that's the real danger, where Harry and Meghan are going to be like, well, no, we want to get these shots because you're their grandfather. When then the reality is we saw it in the Harry and Meghan docuseries, Sally Bedell-Smith pointing out to me these secret entrances that are never supposed to be documented, that Meghan documented, and they published them in the Netflix series. I think that there is a real concern about them trying to take pictures or videos of their children with the royal family so that they can monetize that. And, you know, that puts the king in a really difficult position because he's going to, it's like, do you remember they tried to bring a Vogue photographer in to take official photos with Queen Elizabeth, and she said absolutely not. So it would not be the first time that they tried something like this.
I've told you, Charlie's here as well. I've told you this before, Kinsey. I haven't told you this, Charlie. We lived on the Long Walk for 7 years, and I'm very proud to say that Oliver, and Kins knows this, was the 5th person in the world to put flowers at the gate of Windsor Castle after the Queen died, and then it became a stampede. Literally, it was unbelievable. But I was there with my kids when those 4 walked down in black, Harry and Meghan, and I'm telling you this on everything I have and everything I've ever done. If you looked 100 yards behind, hidden in the trees, darting in and out, was a Netflix camera crew. I wouldn't trust those 2 further than I could throw them. Charlie, thoughts?
Oh, well, you know, Kinsey said it all. I mean, I can't believe we're even entertaining the prospect of her coming over.
It's because he's ill, he's ill, and he wants to do the right thing.
I know, and
Thomas Markle. Thomas Markle.
Thomas Markle, she said it the other day.
Exactly.
Thomas bloody Markle,
Exactly.
absolutely.
Exactly. No, I think, look, we should give her no time at all. I can understand, obviously, the relationship, obviously, between Harry and his dad. I want that to be repaired. I do want that to end well, but there is no place for her back in the UK. There is no place for her.
How can it end well when that woman has his brain?
Well, I'm hoping that she doesn't, and I'm hoping that all the rumours that we currently hear or constantly hear time after time that, you know, that their relationship is on the rocks. I don't want people's relationships to end, but, you know, if that is going to end, I'd rather it end sooner rather than us keep talking about her, because I think she's been toxic, and I just don't know how far, how low she can go.
The thing that I agree with you, Kins, the thing that I think all of us in England think is she that narcissistic that she doesn't know how people feel about her?
Well, I think she's clearly delusional. It's my understanding that she's working with an astrologer who's told her that her bad luck is over and this is going to be her year. So that's what we're hearing.
Are you winding me up?
No, I'm completely serious. An astrologer has told her to start a new chapter and that she's going to have success in whatever she pursues over the next few months.
If I was an astrologer, I'd tell her she'd been speaking out of Uranus for the last several years. Sorry. No, honestly, that's ludicrous, man. Now, listen, help me out, because they thought I was mad when I told this story earlier. When I did the Jeremy Kyle Show, United States of America, for 3 years and lived in New York, on the 3rd night, they took me out to this amazing steak restaurant just by Radio City, and a man came around, a doctor, and gave us all vitamin D injections in the bottom, and they were all like, that doesn't happen. It certainly does in America, doesn't it, Kins?
Yeah, weird stuff like that. Botox parties in, you know, garages. Weird stuff like that happens everywhere. Yeah.
In England, they'd think it was mad. We've got a voice note. Mark, good morning.
Morning, Jez. Morning, Charlie. Mark from Chingford here. Got to say, there's loads of double entendres going on today. It's quite funny. I'm quite enjoying the show, especially listening to Charlie talk about how he's quite partial to a between meals. Yeah, I think today is hilarious. Keep it up, guys. Great show.
It's Fun Time Friday, Kins, because it's been horribly hot. We've lost a Prime Minister who's now trying to get a job serving popcorn, been replaced by a bloke who wasn't an MP 12 days ago, and it's all gone a bit wrong. When are you coming, sweetheart?
I am spending Independence Day with you, which I think is treasonous.
Well, I mean, you wouldn't have America if it wasn't for us, would you? When are you? So you fly next week? Are you? Yes. When are you here till? Because I was slightly disappointed because you've asked me to be on your show on a certain day. It's my birthday 2 days before that.
Why is that disappointing? Well, I want to celebrate your birthday all week.
Well, I want you to do. And he said, "Do me." I want you to do the interview on my birthday.
Well, then let's tell my girl. We'll do it.
Oh, she's got more staff than me now. I created that girl in LA, and look at her now. She's a media mogul, aren't you?
Oh, thank you, Jake.
Piers Morgan is but a pimp on the backside of your success, and we love you, Kinsey Schofield. We can't wait to see you back here, darling. And thank you, as ever. We're pro the royal family, and we're anti-Harry and Meghan, I think, the three of us massively. Kinsey Schofield will be live. It's almost time for you to go. What are you doing today, dear?
I'm doing a little bit of housework.
Really?
I'm going to try. And then I might go for a little dip. I went for a swim yesterday.
Where?
At my local gym. Swim.
Because a lot of people in London swim outside, don't they?
No, I won't be doing that.
Why not?
I think it's... Well, I mean...
I imagine you've got one of those knitted swimming costumes from the 1910s that sags at certain areas when it gets wet. Here's another one for Fun Time Friday. Did you swim yesterday outside? Is it Lido or something in London? What's it called? Lido. Did you swim? That would be good. Also, did you sleep naked? Jez and Chaz, I woke up in the centre of... I feel like I... thought I'd woke up in the centre of a samosa. I was that hot. I then got into my car full of aircon for the next 2 hours, naked. Morning, Jez. Trevor from Milton Keynes. I've been sleeping naked. I went down to get some breakfast this morning. Forgot that I was naked until I saw someone pointing at me, and then I got thrown out of McDonald's. Hey! Charlie Rowley, enjoy your day. Thank you very much indeed for being here. We'll see you next week.
See you then. Look forward to it.
Hoo-ha. Sir Ian Duncan Smith next. We'll try and be serious. Did he sleep? I'm not doing it. We'll see you in 3 after the news at 7 on Talk.
Was never an end point, right? Yeah. The establishment didn't want to put in place the mechanisms for accountability for our own domestic politicians to be answerable to the electorate. And in fact, that's what the EU's all about. Ring-fencing decisions away from those pesky oiks who are the voters. And what we did with Brexit was say, we pesky oiks have got the chance to actually, guess what, hold you to account if you make a mess. Now, I say that with some irony because I'm in the House of Lords. I get all that. But
the question my party is asking now is whether I am best placed to lead us into the next general election. I have heard the answer of my parliamentary party to that question, and I accept that answer with good grace. Every decision I've taken has been about putting the country I love first. That is why I will resign as leader of the Labour Party.
Well, you know what, in the end, he did do the right thing, and there were some achievements, and he's an honourable man, and he cared about public service. Guys, that's not what happened just now. In the last half an hour, Keir Starmer resigned, and he resigned because he was pushed. Most of his issues, most of the things which have damned him from, let's face it, within days, within weeks of him becoming Prime Minister back in July 2024, or of his own making. They were things he chose to do, cutting the winter fuel allowance, damning everybody who wanted to have a public inquiry on the grooming gangs as jumping onto the far-right bandwagon, the two-tier policing after the Southport riots. This man brought it on himself. He was not a good Prime Minister.
There was two things on that manifesto. One was a picture of Keir Starmer and the word change. Well, promise made and promise delivered in that sense. Let's be honest.
But look, I mean, I don't really want to make light of it, but I am cheesed off, Julia, because what we promised in opposition was competence, and it's been anything but. I'm embarrassed. I'm really, truly, honestly, I am embarrassed, because I did think we would be competent. We've not been.
I've no idea whether there'll be a contest or a coronation. But what I do know is the British public have simply had enough of political parties chopping and changing their leaders at will. We vote for somebody in a general election to be our Prime Minister. We expect them to serve their term. And barring ill health or exceptional circumstances, what is going on here, frankly, is reminiscent of a banana republic that has totally devalued the very process of general elections and democracy. We at Reform demand a general election.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
Welcome back or welcome along. Just gone 7 o'clock on Friday, the 26th of June. We're live across the UK with Talk Breakfast, the home of common sense, where your views on the day's news matter. It's Fun Time Friday, though. We'll do the serious stuff, we'll read the news, but whatever you want to talk about, the end of a pretty torrid week, horrendous temperatures, people just doing whatever to try and keep cool. Apparently, the good news is the heat bomb will finish today, but, you know, unbelievable scenes across the United Kingdom. I don't know about you, but couldn't sleep last night at all. But lots of people phoning up and saying they slept naked. We'll do more of that later. 0344 499 1000. Big stories about the royal family. You heard Kinsey Schofield there, front page of The Sun. Buck stops here, a £369 million refurbishment of Buckingham Palace will be done in a 12-month period. The royal family, though, admitting they'll never move back there. The King and Queen will live in Clarence House, St James's Palace, just 150 yards up on the left. But the monarchy will use that, Buckingham Palace, for two reasons. One, to host and to have big dinners and banquets and balls and whatever in the administrative centre. But they're going to open it up to make money, which is exactly what all those people who don't understand what the monarchy does for this country have wanted for years. Fair play to them. Terrible story in the paper this morning. Labour to free waves of killers and rapists early. These are criminals guilty of the most serious offences will now be released halfway through their crime. Politically, Andy Burnham, the coup of the decade, well, forever, I think. On his way back to Manchester this morning, or last night on a train, he's done his business. Starmer, sitting in Downing Street, a busted flush, went out last night and tried his hand at a new job, ladies and gentlemen. Imagine this, in little over 5 days, which even by my maths is less than 120 hours. On Monday morning, you are the Prime Minister of one of the biggest nations in the world. By Thursday night, you're serving popcorn. Have a watch.
Popcorn?
Yeah.
Right. Should we serve some up?
Yes.
Right.
We've got a scoop in here for you.
Fantastic.
And then just behind you here, get some popcorn in that box.
As if I've been doing it for years. Right, who wants the first one? Here we go. Look at that. Do you think that's enough in that? Or do you need a bit more? Are you sure?
That's fine.
That's a lot, isn't it?
Yeah.
What's your favourite film?
Mario.
Ah, yeah. Who else hasn't got one? Come forward. What's your favourite film? Yeah, it is. That's provocative when you're being served by an Arsenal fan.
I mean, look, let's be honest. It's a pretty big downfall. The jobs market under Reeves isn't great, and I would love somebody to have said, when he said, "What's your favourite film?" Raiders of the Lost Pension would have been a good answer, wouldn't it? 0344 499 1000. Text to 87222. Let's say a very good morning to a man who should have been Prime Minister, far more intelligent than Starmer's. I don't know. Sir Ian Duncan Smith, a very good morning to you, sir.
Good morning. Morning to you.
It's quite a fall from being the Prime Minister on a Monday to serving popcorn on a Thursday, isn't it?
Well, it's gainful employment. Some people do anything to get inside to the cinema without paying their way, I suppose.
Ian, in your experience, and God knows, man, you've been around and you've seen the Tory party tear itself apart. Did you ever think this week could happen, and did you ever see it? I'm not even going to say it was brilliantly orchestrated, but by God, it was quick and rapid, and it worked, didn't it?
Yes, we have a peculiar constitutional system. It's always very difficult to explain to constituents why we end up changing our leaders, whereas no other country seems to do it in quite the same way. So the answer is, when you go to the polls, constitutionally, you elect the party, not the individual. And therefore that means that the party that's in government has the choice as to who shall be the Prime Minister. I know there's lots of my constituents who have written to me to say, why don't we get a say in this? Why can't we decide who it's going to be? Why can't we have a general election? You can have a general election, but again, that would need the party itself to decide that it wasn't prepared to be governed by that particular individual and didn't want to put up a separate individual and then go to the polls. So it's always confusing, I think, to most people. My God knows it's confusing enough in Parliament at the moment. But,
I mean, I'm quite strong on this, and I don't have to apologise. I'm entitled to my opinion. I don't think that an MP should be able to swap parties, having stood as a Tory or a Labour candidate and decided to switch mid. I think the people should have a right. The Tories did it, Labour have done it. I don't know. But the interesting thing for me is, I mean, Burnham's come from almost nowhere. What do you make of the man? Do you know the man?
I do, actually. I used to play football with him. So I know him pretty well. As an individual, he's very personable. You'd share a drink with him quite happily in a chat. I think that would be okay. The problem that I've got is not with his personality. The problem I've got is that this government, no matter who's leading it, has made some very, very bad mistakes. And the point we keep going on about constantly in the media is personalities. The trouble is, it's not really personalities that are hurting the individuals who are out there working hard, or those who are trying to look for a job and there are no jobs, or the NEETs that are now unable to find either an education, employment or training. All of that has collapsed. It's collapsed because of the bad choices made by the Chancellor. And I must say, I thought that yesterday at Prime Minister's Questions, Kemi Badenoch ripped her apart, the Chancellor. She made it clear. There was this woman that said she swore by her loyalty to the Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, and when he was giving his resignation speech, obviously an emotional time for him, she wasn't in the audience with him. She'd gone and was in a selfie behind Andy Burnham, trying to curry favour with him.
Have you
She
seen?
said, what a low, traitorous bunch you really are.
Absolutely.
And that's exactly, no, it's stabbing him in the back and then heading over to the next one. I have to say, it's the most unedifying part of British politics is when the Labour Party or whichever party does this. It shows a lack of common sense and certainly a lack of respect for the British public.
Did you see her yesterday at the British Chamber of Commerce? I'm going to play this because I sort of, a bit like Lammy, think that this should send a message to all young girls and all young men watching or listening to this that you can achieve anything. I mean, it was like the robot that is Reeves malfunctioned. Have a watch it, Ian. This is extraordinary.
What would your advice be to anyone in the future taking on the role as Chancellor?
I'm not sure if anyone wants my advice.
Sorry, I mean, at the risk of making it personal, how in the name of God did that woman end up running the finances of this country? Let's have that discussion, because we listened to you're the first woman to do it, we gave her a chance, we listened to the black hole. The fact is, we've got the most expensive energy in the Western world, which destroys growth and businesses. We've had NI, we've had tax. I read yesterday she's going to even start taxing tax-free ISAs. We should call this out. I didn't buy his crocodile tears. He didn't cry about the soldiers persecuted or the farmers who committed suicide or the pensioners who couldn't warm their houses up. And I'm not shedding tears for her, who I think has been utterly, utterly useless, Ian.
I agree with you. I have to say one thing about that interview. It was the first time she's been honest. I don't know. She was honest in that robotic way that she managed to persuade. I think you're quite right. I think the British public is sick and tired of this game that's being played out of personalities. What they really want to know is, can a government govern? Do they make the right decisions? Do they really care about hardworking people who want to try and do the best? I mean, you know, welfare is over the top at the moment. It's astonishingly, it's growing at a rate. You know, when I left, we had the lowest number of workless households in the world, and I put my reforms in. We had something like 1 million people gone back to work, and the lowest number of young people living in workless households. That's because we took tough choices and we saved the money. They won't take those choices. They're running away from it.
Well, this is the interesting point about Burnham. You said he's a nice guy, and I think, you know, straight away, you can tell that. Well, he can communicate, for Christ's sake, which our Prime Minister hasn't been capable of doing. But let's scrape the surface and ask you, a parliamentarian of great experience, you led the Tory party, should have been Prime Minister. Is he Andy Burnham, right? So he's been brought in, almost parachuted in, to save, I suspect, the Labour Party from almost extinction. They've rode in behind him. They're all running around trying to curry favour with him to get a job. Has he got either the political capital, Ian Duncan Smith, or the cojones to say to those backbenchers, you won't like this, but I'm going to have to cut welfare to pay for defence. I'm going to have to start drilling in the North Sea. Even Isabel, we were talking about Isabel Oakeshott, she said that would neuter a lot of what the right has been saying, both Reform and the Tories. But it's to say, and you'll tell me, that no Labour sets in that party, that you are hamstrung.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the unedifying thing that the public, I already know because they contact me, my constituents, they are fed up with this game of musical chairs that takes place now, with these pathetic individuals. They're all grown-ups, but they're behaving like children trying to get into the picture, squeezing in behind him, desperate for jobs. She apparently, Rachel Reeves, has been in and talking to his team endlessly about letting her stay on. You know, it's a pathetic game that's being played out. And you know the people that lose out on all of this?
The public.
It's the public, because they're not part of this little game, this dance of, you know, can I be in, can I be out, who's in, who's out. This is a very selfish process. And all I would say, doesn't matter who's in power, it's got to stop.
Yeah.
And the main thing is the public made a decision. Like it or hate it. In most other countries, they don't, you know, the parliamentarians don't get a chance to say no. You don't in America. They elect a president. They don't in many countries in Europe, where they elect a party, a government, a leader. They can't be changed. In Germany, they wouldn't be able to change their prime minister. They can't even change a cabinet minister in Germany until the end of the governing period. So we are playing games at the moment in Westminster, dancing around and looking ridiculous. Like, what is this ridiculous selfie? For God's sake, grow up. Grow up. We've got to govern the bloody country. Sorry, excuse my language.
No, I completely agree. I'm almost... No, mate, Ian, I get it. And what frustrates me, and they say to me, you say this every morning, and I will continue to say it, is that there seems to be still, despite the Spencer scandal, despite the expenses scandal, despite all of the things that have happened, I mean, Christ, you know, and now I'm swearing, Starmer, the corruption minister, being fired because she's being charged with corruption, the housing minister being fired because she was illegally renting out properties, Louise Haig, who's going to make a comeback with a Rachel Reeves bob, done for fraud by the police, for Christ's sake. I think that the British public have so woken up to the quality of the MPs and some of the things that happen repeatedly, but I'm not sure that politicians still understand the depth of anger and the depth of feeling. And Andy Burnham and the Labour Party, or Kemi Van the Tory Party, or Nigel Reform, do they understand that the silent majority have woken up? And they are, when I say on the move, you know what I'm meaning. They're more invested now because they're fed up to the back teeth with what they see as unfairness and unreasonable behaviour towards them.
Yes, I mean, I've seen all this many, many times over, so you know, it's not a shock or a surprise to me. But what I do think is that what we give off during the course of this as members of Parliament is a sort of air of selfish personal games, and I think the public finds it very difficult. You know, if you're struggling because the business that you're in can't afford to function any longer, it's been hammered with taxation, the energy prices are the highest. You know, our energy prices are 8 times higher than the United States.
Yeah.
And about 4 times higher than the average for most of the rest of the developed world.
Which is why we have no
astonishing
growth, because she has taxed and screwed everybody into the ground. And you will not make any business work when your energy costs are that high. Here's another thing about Burnham, and you didn't answer me directly. 3 questions. Will he drill in the North Sea, do you think? Because there's liquid gold, there's money. Norway are doing it, we're buying it off them, for God's sake. Do you think he'll open up those fields?
I don't know, but I don't think so. You know, if, as we've been hearing, his team are thinking of bringing Miliband in to run as a chancellor, I think there you've got your answer. If they do that, if Miliband gets anywhere near the significant levers of power in this government, then we have taken a turn for disaster. I don't dislike the individual personally. I never make it personal, but I have to tell you, this obsession, this ideological obsession that we've got now with being net zero at all costs is going to destroy British car industry. They're already complaining that they can't afford to keep manufacturing cars that nobody wants to buy.
Yep.
Yet we're hammering them with extra costs and penalties if they fail to do it. Meanwhile, China's sitting a major threat to us. We don't spend the money on defense if necessary to defend ourselves. Russia could launch missiles at us tomorrow, any city in Britain. We don't have any missile defense compared to those other countries that you've been seeing in these wars. What we have here is an obsession of net zero. And as somebody once said, if we get to net zero ourselves, what does that do, and how much does that change the global issue?
What do you get, a medal? Precisely.
And the answer, not one jot. And meanwhile, we are destroying our economy, we're destroying people's lives simply to get to this ideological position. Of course, we want a cleaner environment, but if you want to do it, you've got to do it at a pace that is well enough so that people can manage, and secondly, you don't crush your industry to get there. That's what we're doing. We're saying it, no, it's the highest priority. We don't care about anything else. We're not going to drill. I mean, no other country, I think, in the developed world or even across the world, given the oil reserves that we still have, the gas reserves that we still have, no other country would do anything else but looking for new fields and drilling, because that is our energy source. And in fact, as you said, Norway is drilling in the same areas and selling us the oil.
And this is
madness that goes on.
But this is my point about Burnham, and you would know. You don't agree with his politics. You know the man. Is he savvy enough to go? I've got enough political capital in the bank. They couldn't get rid of me now. I'm going to get 3 years. I'm going to tell them. I'm going to do a Thatcher and say, if we don't cut this welfare benefits bill, even if it's minimal, just to show, if we don't do some drilling licences, we are screwed. Do you know what I think he'll do with Miliband? You'll laugh. You'd know far more than me. I think he'll make him Foreign Secretary and away from the levers of power with a grand office that he loves. I think he'll put Wes Streeting as Chancellor, and I actually think he might. I don't know about Shabana Mahmood. I don't know about women, and they've talked about Yvette Cooper. I wonder whether he does have the nous to do something, and everybody will go, geez. I'm not saying it'll work or it'll be long-term, but he's taken long enough to get there. Why would you not go for your life, Ian Duncan Smith, once you get the job?
Well, the test of leadership is doing what is right, not what they hope for. So in other words, what is right now is that we've got to lower the burden of taxation on companies and businesses that can't afford to run themselves and can't afford to employ people. Get rid of that ridiculous starting rate of tax in national insurance, which actually penalises part-time work, which is one of the reasons why young people can't get jobs, because they can't get work experience. He should now say to Miliband, sling your hook. You had a good old go at this, and lots of people would love to do the job that you've done very badly, in which case, off you go, pack your bags. I'm going to send you as the ambassador to someplace out in southern Africa, and leave it at that.
Could we do some vetting first, though? Could we perhaps do some vetting on future ambassadors first? That might be a good idea.
Well, maybe. I don't really mind. I feel sorry if actually I was inflicting Miliband on those poor other nations. The reality, though, is he's got to stand up and say, I am putting Britain first. I am not putting your ambitions first. I am not putting this obsession first. Let's be practical. We can't afford to head down this road of net zero in the way that you're doing it. So you're out, and I'm bringing in somebody who's going to say, yes, we'd like to clean up the environment, and we will do it at a pace and in a reasonable way that doesn't destroy our economy. In the meantime, get those drills going in the North Sea, get the oil and gas coming out. We're going to cheapen energy for British industry. We're going to start rebuilding manufacturing in this country, and we're going to start building up our defences. Those are the priorities. And in the meantime, we're going to look to get the burden of taxation down on ordinary working people who do not have the wherewithal to be able to manage their bills and their budgets because we've taken the money off them.
Couldn't agree more, my friend. It'll be interesting to see. Thank you. In all the heat, and there you are, in suit and tie, looking the business, and we hope you have a relaxing weekend. Great to have you on as ever. Sir Ian Duncan Smith, former Conservative Party leader, 7:22. It is Friday morning. It's the 26th of June. It's almost apparently over, the heat bomb, right? But honestly, it is Fun Time Friday in between the things, because, you know, it's been a long, horrible week. And I said a question earlier. It's not Fanage Friday, by the way, for Anthony, who sent that message. If you had a fan last night, how strong was your fan? You could give me a Fanage reading. That's absolutely fine. But I wanted to know, on the basis of talking about what's going on in the world, it's also, let's have a bit of fun, because Christ, it's been miserable. 0344 499 1000. 37 degrees last night. Did you sleep naked? Paul says 90% naked on a man means your executive producer slept with one sock on, says Paul and Hitchin. But where was the sock? Don't. Morning, Jez. Didn't have to sleep naked last night as we hopped on a flight to Gibraltar yesterday morning. Got aircon here, blooming lovely. Great show, mate. You just enjoy yourself. I slept naked last night. I slept naked last night. I'm a big-sized girl, and when I got up earlier, I managed to grip the bedsheet with no hands and drag it all the way to the bathroom. Morning, Brian.
Morning, JK. I haven't slept at all last night. That's not because I wasn't in bed. It's because I've been at work since 11 o'clock last night. I think I've slept for about 3 days. But if I was in bed, I can guarantee I'd be stark. Great show.
This idea that there's somehow a climate catastrophe just because you get the odd hot day, the odd cold day, the idea that we should turn our society upside down in order to change the weather, we can't. Ever since we had an electricity system that's fundamentally run to reduce emissions rather than to produce affordable and reliable power, we've been getting ourselves into trouble. The main beneficiary has been communist China because they're making the solar panels and the windmills that are mucking up our power supply.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
Welcome back, 7:26. So, if you are a regular to the Jeremy Kyle Breakfast Show, we do a lot of serious stuff. We had Sir Ian Duncan-Smith, but it is Friday. It has been bloody hot all week, and I just thought we'd have fun time Friday. Morning, Liam.
Morning, Desert. Morning, Charlie. Liam in his lorry. No, I didn't sleep naked last night, although it was hot in the lorry. The only reason I didn't is the last time I did, I had the police around for a hate crime. But anyway, have a great show, boys.
This is ridiculous this morning. Half an hour ago, Charlie Rowley left because I believed that Charlie Rowley was going, you know, home to do some work or maybe something else. But Christian just said during... There he is, he's coming back. Christian just said, and I quote, Charlie's out there, right? He's still out there. Why is he out there? Why, if he's out there, is he not in here? Is it true what I've just heard, Rowley? Is it? Just put it in, for goodness sake. We're trying to get the microphone working.
I think I'm on now.
Oh, good.
I'm in. Well,
just tell the audience. I thought you'd gone. Thank you so much. What are you waiting for?
Well, there is a routine that I have here, which I've which I quite like. After the adrenaline of a brilliant show in the morning, I think, 6 till 7, I do
You
go
bugger off at 7, whilst I have to do another 3 hours.
And I get the gossip from the team outside. I actually, funny enough, I then read the papers.
Yes, brilliant.
So I actually work out what...
Sort of post-paper review, I read the papers.
Just to make sure I've not said anything that's...
There's not been any intelligence whatsoever,
exactly.
ever, yeah.
But then, breakfast here, which is very nice, I have to say.
No, you're not waiting around for the canteen because it's nice. Is it because it's subsidised, you tight git, isn't it?
It opens in 2 minutes and counting. So
well, I'm not going to let you go there.
It was, I was up for a bit of porridge this morning. That's what I usually have a fry-up on a Friday, actually, if I'm here on a Friday.
But you're worried the shirt's quite tight, aren't you?
It is quite tight.
Morning, me again, says Stephen. I slept naked last night with a fan at the end of my bed which cools my nether regions. I got up to walk to the bathroom and they clanged around like ice cubes. Oh, I can't do this. This is ridiculous.
Can I ask you about that, what Kinsey was saying? I know this is about half an hour ago now, but the peas... Now,
I'm going to get a meteorologist on next because she said in America, in LA, this is a quote from Kinsey Schofield, she sleeps with frozen bags of peas around her.
But you can't use them again, can you? You can't use the peas after this.
So tight. Subsidised breakfast and peas that will be away. Can you? They're inside the bag, but if they melt...
Exactly. Well, they would melt, wouldn't they?
Of course they would, because she's hot.
So you can't use them again, can you? Christian says yes.
Can you? Let's ask a man who would know. Alex Burkett is a meteorologist at the Met Office. Morning, Alex.
Good morning. How's it going, Jeremy?
Well, it's going very, very flippantly this morning because we've had a bloody hot week where the political world has been turned upside down, and most of this morning seems to have been as a result of the weather that you're going to tell us about, whether people slept naked or not. Do you know anything about bags of frozen peas, by the way? Have you had anybody ever tell you that? I've just had that.
I mean, it's an interesting way to try and cool down, but you're right. Once they melt, they're probably not that safe to eat unless you eat them straight away, I guess. So not one of our key advice that we give out when it.
And you're a scientist, aren't you? You're proper intelligent, aren't you? Really? So how do you give some advice to the poor folk, the 11 who are listening? I'm joking. How are we supposed to stay cool? Because it has been extended for another part of today, hasn't it? This horrible weather.
Yeah, so the red extreme heat warning now does cover parts of southeastern England through today as well, and that's because the high temperatures, they're continuing. In fact, for some parts of the east-southeast, temperatures today are going to be even higher than they have been so far this week. Other parts of the UK are seeing a slight drop in our temperatures. There is fresher air coming in, but unfortunately in parts of the southeast, it is still going to be unbearably hot and unbearably humid. And that's the problem when it comes to cooling down because of the high humidity.
Yep.
When it comes to sweating, your body just doesn't lose that heat in the same way when the air is already so saturated. And so that's why it's so uncomfortable by day and also by night. And that's why when some people are saying, we get these sort of temperatures in other parts of the world and they cope just fine, it's a different sort of heat. And then add to that,
it's a dry heat, isn't it? I mean, I spend a lot of time in the Middle East and a lot of time in the Caribbean, right, which is certain parts of the year in the Caribbean are exactly what it's like last night, the last humid. But when you get a dry heat, you can take far more of it. The air was just so still last night, man. I mean, did you sleep naked last night?
I didn't. I've got 2 young kids, and so
that's a good point.
I'm regularly greeted by them in the night. So I get
Are they? Listen, I've got 6 kids. You're absolutely spot on. Although I haven't even slept in the same bed as my wife for the last 6 nights because of this heat, because there are kids running all over the place. But people have been saying we'll do anything to keep what cool. Some woman phoned up and said we had frozen peas, cool pebbles on certain parts and wet towels. It's horrible, man, isn't it?
It is really unbearable, and that's why we issue these extreme heat warnings, because whilst a number of people will be appreciating the change to hot weather and some people will enjoy it, it's a large part of the population that will really struggle. Add to that, our infrastructure struggles during this hot weather as well, because it's just not designed for temperatures in the mid to high 30s. When a lot of our roads, when a lot of our buildings were built, temperatures that high just weren't something that we saw at all.
A lot of people, I completely agree with you, my friend, and a lot of people, Alex, will say that this is symptomatic about what's going to happen to the British weather, and then we get into the whole climate debate, which I don't want to get into. As a meteorologist and a man who knows his business, is this a phenomenon that will look back like people still talk? You weren't alive, I was, but people still talk about 1976. I think it went on for about 8 weeks, and it was consistently sort of 30 plus, and it was known as that summer, right? Will people talk about the phenomenon of 2026, or is this going to become a more regular thing, my friend?
Unfortunately, I think you're right in as much as when we look back in a few years' time, this event won't stand out particularly noteworthy. Obviously, we have broken the June record, so it has been the hottest June day on record for 2 days running already, and it could well be beaten or exceeded again today. But there's a fairly high likelihood that going forward in the next 5, 10, 20 years, we'll see that record being exceeded once more. 1976 does still stand out as a particularly long period of very hot weather. We had 15 days with 32 Celsius.
Oh, was it 15 days? It felt like 8 weeks. I was 11.
Well, when you added it all up, and the summer as a whole was very hot, and it was so dry. That was the problem with 1976. So it is still an unusual year, and also 76 stood out because at the time we'd had a lot of cooler summers in the run-up to 76. So it was remarkably different to what had come before it. If we had a 1976 summer now, aside from if we went with the same sort of temperatures that we saw back then, it wouldn't stand out as remarkably as it did back in the 70s.
Just very quickly, the next couple of weeks, this is going to cool down for people listening across the UK. Is that the summer done? Will be more equilibrium? Have we got rain coming, Alex? What's it looking like going forward, my friend?
So a bit of everything, really. So it is cooling down. So today is the last day of the absolutely extreme heat, in as much as today's the last day where we have the mid to high 30s. By tomorrow, even in the southeast, it's still going to be hot. We do still have an extreme heat warning out, but only an amber. And I'm only expecting temperatures of low to mid 30s. So starting to get more comfortable. And even elsewhere, we have fresher air coming in. So by Sunday, temperatures will be mid, possibly high 20s. Still hot, but not unbearably hot and humid like it is at the moment. There will also be some rain around. Many people had some thunderstorms overnight. There's more showery rain to come through today, tonight, into the weekend as well. There'll be more cloud. I think many of us will welcome that rain and welcome that cloud. But into next week, there are mixed signs. I think we're going to end up with a bit of a northwest-southeast split. Cooler, fresher, cloudier, wetter towards the northwest, further south and east, drier. And high pressure building towards the end of the week could settle our weather down a bit more widely, but I'm not expecting temperatures to rise anywhere near as high as they are at the moment.
You are bloody good, you are. Look, we need to get him on again because he knows about the weather. That was fantastic, my friend. Thank you, Alex Burkill. Met Office extraordinaire. Brilliant. Love that. Thank you very much indeed. 25 to 8, basically in layman's terms, right? Sleeping with peas isn't good. As Vinny says, you wouldn't want to eat peas if you've had them down your skiddies, would you, to be honest? which is perhaps back to the quality of what I was trying to achieve. On a serious note from him, from the Met Office, it has been extraordinary. Did you hear him say this won't become a phenomenon? This could happen the whole time. Should we go to the phone lines?
Yeah, let's.
Let's say good morning, Charlie, to Chrissy, in Spain. You speak to her.
Hola, Chrissy.
Hello,
that's
how are you?
Charlie, hola, Chrissy. Chrissy, all right, love, how you doing?
Buenos dias.
Buenos dias.
Where are you, Chrissy? This is Jezza.
In Salar, a little tiny village, which is like being in UK in the 60s. Very friendly people, they're helpful and they love you. And I'm near Granada, in between Malaga and Granada.
Oh, how long have you been there?
26 years.
Oh, I thought just a couple of weeks. She's living there. She's living there. And
we moved there. We went on a world trip around the world for 12 months on motorbikes. And then when we got back, we didn't like Tony Blair, so we moved to Spain.
Didn't like Tony Blair, so we moved to Spain. There you go. Where did you come from, Chrissy, in England?
Well, I was born in Old Hill in the West Midlands.
No surprise.
And my mum married a soldier who lived in Frith Common in a little Worcester village. So I was 6 weeks old and moved to a little village called Mennick Wood, which was very small, 200 people. But everybody helped each other and it was beautiful. I loved it.
But it was in Birmingham?
No, Worcestershire.
Oh, Worcestershire. Got that market. So you like Spain? So
not Black Country.
The black. Oh, yam mate. All right. 35955 get you through to me. That was me on BRMB. Chrissy, so Spain's better, but you're used to this heat. We're all bloody whinging over here. We'll be moaning about the rain next week.
I know. We have hot weather from May up until about October, well, beginning of October, and we don't get rain.
No.
Not where we are, anyway.
No. Do you sleep naked, Chrissy?
Yes. I'm 78, but I do.
You're 78?
We've got no neighbours because we live in what they call a campo, which is 10 minutes outside the village, and we're just surrounded by olive. No neighbours. It's lovely.
I mean, you're having a life, so you basically start naked the whole time. Do you wander around the house and the garden naked?
No.
Why? There's no neighbours.
Well, I do in the house, but not outside in the garden. But I get bitten by bugs and wasps and things.
Brilliant, brilliant. Just walk into the garden, a dog just bites me in the arse because I'm naked. Are you naked now, Chrissy?
No, not quite. Not quite.
Not quite.
Sorry, what does... You see, you've done it now, because Sammy's just looked at me with his raised one eye. What does not quite mean?
Well, I've got knickers and shorts on, and my husband's gone outside to stay out the way. He doesn't like listening to me.
Your husband's gone outside because he doesn't like listening to me?
Yeah.
He doesn't like me?
No, he doesn't like listening to me being silly on the phone.
Well, I think I'd divorce him. Join me after the break. We'll get the truth. No, I'm joking. Listen, Christy, fantastic.
I was very upset, Jeremy, when they took you off, because when I lived in England, I never missed your show.
Oh, bless you. They don't do the truth anymore, though, do they? It's all gone a bit beige and bland nowadays, but we do our best. Listen, great to have you on. Chrissy, half naked in Spain. I love Fun Day Friday. 0344 499 1000. You're not going to breakfast, you're staying here.
Well,
I will send for your breakfast if you stay with me.
Oh, that's very kind. Well, I'll stay with you.
Yes.
I'll stay with you.
Hot water bottle, 3/4 fill, put it in the freezer for an hour and a half. Lovely to keep you cool.
Yeah, that's the second time I've heard someone talk about a hot water bottle frozen.
Jezza, says Wayne, after the last few free-for-all Friday topics and conversations going forward, Jezza's Guide to Glamping Naked might be interesting. Jezza's Dishwasher Cookbook, More Than Just Salmon. Interesting. Bradwell, Where Are You? By Carl. The Working Man's Guide to Pedicures. One Man, One Testicle Guide to Keeping Your Nut Cool. I think that's a bit disrespectful, isn't it? Because... Why are you laughing? Cancer's not... Honestly, you lot are an absolute outrage.
I think it was the... What else did he say?
Keep your nut cool.
Yes, yeah. But
Being very honest about the fact that I've only got one testicle because of testicular cancer, and if that causes you... You're trying not to laugh. You... unbelievably bad human being.
No, it was I think there was more to that text than what meets the eye, I think. What did it say?
I don't know. I'm going to... Oh, Jezza. Amazing lightning storms in Edinburgh last night. Much cooler. No, you can't freeze, unfreeze and refreeze. You'll start an Ebola outbreak with pee. MPs have aircon in their offices. Shush, don't tell Mad Ed the Red. Is that true?
Do you know what? I think some do, yeah, if you're in the nicer part of the building. But that building is so old. That is a whole nother kettle of fish, isn't it? The renovations of Parliament. How much money is that going to cost? How long is that going to take? Do we need to move MPs out to...
out to grass.
Out to grass.
My favourite text of the morning is Peter, who says, what next? Having seen Trotter... Keir Trotter, he said, down serving popcorn. He says, what next? He'll be down the local market selling cheap knockoff copies of the designer clothes he got free from Lord Alley. Get your free suits worn by the Prime Minister down here. 0344 499 1000. This is Talk Breakfast.
across the UK, on DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
Sorry. Welcome back to Talk Breakfast, the home of common sense, and where your views on the day's news. It's Fun Time Friday. It's been bloody hell. Charlie Rowley, right, comes here, reviews the papers, and then I see him outside, and it turns out that he's waiting for the canteen to open at 7:30 because it's subsidised, and he has a little read of the paper, so he works out whether there's anything he shouldn't have said that he did. Didn't think to actually read them at the same time. And now we've offered you breakfast. Yes. But you don't like to eat in public. What's that all about?
I don't like to. Well, I always fear it might be an Ed Miliband bacon sandwich movement. I feel eating is a private matter at times.
So do you never go out for dinner? Do you just sit in a dark room on your own, munching on your beans and toast? What do you do?
I do. I like I can eat in a canteen setting. I can eat in a restaurant, obviously,
but not on air.
But I just prefer not to on air. Not that I do go on many dates. No one's ever asked me.
Oh, Jesus.
But I would never go to dinner on a first date. I'd go for a drink or something.
Would you not?
I'd go for maybe a walk or try and do something a bit more, do something that doesn't involve eating. I've just got this intrepid fear that I'll end up with some sort of spinach stuck between my teeth, all theirs, and it would just be incredibly awkward on a first date. I won't want to see them again after that.
Oh, my God. 0344 410 1000. Text to 87222. The heat wave should be over soon. Mandy, good morning.
Hi, Jazza. Lovely to see you, and especially lovely to see Charlie. I slept on top of the bed last night, but then I was woken up at 3 o'clock with a flipping massive thunderstorm and lightning, so I've been up since 3. I'm knackered, but great show. Lovely to see you both.
What a lovely message that is.
That was lovely.
Morning, Jez. Living in Spain. This is still not as hot as it's going to get. Love it. Hotter the better. Yep, naked every night, says Paul. Fantastic talk. I have to say, it was nice to see Starmer so relaxed and interacting so naturally with those children yesterday, reminiscent of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1... Hurrah! Do you remember him doing the fireworks in miserable gear? Gary in Bridgewater. Remind me to tell you a joke about Bridgewater. Jane's in Milton Keynes. Good morning, Jezza. Great show as always. Did you realise today's date? This is scary. 2606-2026. Did you know that?
I didn't, but I'm...
You're not bothered, are you? My birthday is the 7th of July. When I was 12, it was 7777. You don't care about that either. Peter says, I slept naked last night. My wife hasn't laughed like that in ages. Wasn't his wife. For the last 3 nights, I've slept outside on my bench in my shorts, no cover. It was fantastic. That's interesting. What sort of bench is that? Is it a workman's bench? Is it a bench in a park? What is that? Is it... all right, I'm going to the guest in a minute. Morning, Jez. Jan, the man from Blackburn. Thunder here. Just need to make sure it's 8 miles away, then give it 15 minutes, pop out for a 15-minute warm-up, then crack on with my day. I've no idea. Gary says Buckingham Palace could be Britain's largest HMO. That might be a good idea. 0344 499 1000. Now, Charlie Rowley, you're a football fan. He supports Arsenal. Saturday, England's third and final qualification game against Panama. Kick-off at 10 o'clock. MetLife Stadium in New Jersey. We say a very good morning to the former England footballer we was on last week. They loved him. Paul Stewart, good morning.
Good morning. You OK?
You've got a sense of humour, haven't you, Paul?
Yes.
Did you sleep naked last night with this heat or what?
Yeah, of course.
Did
Why
you?
not?
See, proper footballer. Everybody sleep.
I'm from Withenshaw, Jeremy. We didn't have any clothes anyway. So...
No clothes, no bed and no bloody roofs on top of house. No, I know. Brilliant. Mate, we haven't spoken since the last game. You nailed it right the first time with Croatia, although not the score.
No.
After Croatia, people were talking about defensive liabilities. Then we had Ghana, parking the bus, and people are going, oh, it was a good result. And I was going, but if you're going to be any good, you're going to have to break down teams like that. Panama's an easy game, let's be perfectly honest. The trouble, as Sammy said to me on the way in, is the route after that. Have they flattered to deceive, or will they get better, Paulie?
Well, no, I thought, Jez, we touched on it might be a difficult game against Ghana, didn't we? And I said because of the heat, which didn't come into play really, but they were a strong side. You're 100%. If we're going to go further in this competition, we need to break down teams that are going to park the bus. But when you get into the the next round. They'll have more quality. They'll be able to park the bus, but they'll be even more of a threat. So, you know, I think a bit of stark reality came into play after the Ghana game. We'll probably qualify, as you know. It's better to qualify as winners. But I think it's just a bit of a wake up call myself from how well we did in the second half against Croatia.
Why is it you played top quality, top notch, top level football? And Charlie, you're a football fan. We had Scholes and Lampard and Beckham and all that, and they could never play together. If you look at the talent on the pitch, you hear about Neymar and you hear about Spain. Yeah. We've got quality everywhere. How is it that we can't just put it together? I mean, you know, the argument about Ghana is, right, a good team like Brazil or Spain or France would have broken Ghana down. Why can't we do it?
Do you know what, Jez? Do you not think it might be that expectation that's on the shoulders again, because it's been so long, and, you know, wearing that shirt sometimes it comes with a lot of expectation, and I think it does play on the lads' minds at times, and we expect. And I totally agree. When I look at not just the 11 on the pitch, I see that what we've got in reserve sat there on the bench would get in any other World Cup team or country's team. So, you know, sometimes I just think it's that expectation of a long time with.
I see it. I said it to you the other day, Charlie. I say it to you as well. I see it like England rugby used to be before Clive Woodward came along. We were more scared of losing than wanting to win, and so we played conservatively. I'd thought the Croatia thing, it was nice to win 4-2. I'm sick and tired of winning 1-0 or scraping a draw. I want us to free the shackles. You're an Arsenal fan. That's what Arteta's done, right?
Absolutely. And look, I think success breeds success. And look, you know, if you've... I mean, England suffered what Arsenal suffered for years, you know, always maybe...
What, Piers Morgan being a fan?
Well, oh, you
Let's not mention Piers.
How is it as a ex-Spurs player seeing Arsenal rule the roost, bub?
It's not good, especially with the season we had, Jeremy. You know, it was quite painful to watch. And I think, you know, you looked at Arsenal and the manner in which they won it, you know, they did get a bit wobbly-legged towards the end. But City couldn't get the results to keep that pressure on them. Listen, they're the best because they showed it over a season. But for a Spurs player and Spurs fan, if you will, it's difficult to watch and see them.
Try being a West Ham fan. Very quickly, my friend, a prediction for England-Panama from you, Paul Stewart?
I think it'll be a comfortable win, 3 or more goals, purely and simply because of what happened against Ghana, Jez. I think the players will come out and they'll be fired. I know you should be fired up, but... Yeah. They'll be even more fired up because of the disappointment of the game the other day. And I just hope that you ask me back on, and because when we get to the business end, you'll probably be looking for a Gary Lineker or a...
Sod Gary Lineker. No. Paul Stewart is my man. Very quickly, tell me very quickly about the Football Safety Act, which is really important. Listen to this, gang.
You know my work, and... I'm very much the work that I do is around people's safety and enjoyment and making sure that they can go to games without fear of any repercussions, you know, trouble or anything. This app is there for supporters. They can report any incidents. They can download it from your app store, but it's just another layer of safety. We should be able to go to pastimes without fear of anything.
You're talking about, this is a football safety app. It's available. It enables fans and clubs to report abuse whenever it occurs at the stadium, on the journey to the game, online, through real-time reporting and clear guidance on unacceptable behaviour. We'll keep pushing that, Paulie. You're a legend. Sod Gary Lineker. What are you talking about, man? We'll always have you on. Don't you worry, Paul Stewart. Thank you, my friend. Really good to have you on. You know what Gary in Bridgewater's just said? The monoball Kyle breakfast show goes from strength to strength.
Well, he's
humiliating me because I've got one testicle. This is down to you, this is.
And I'm not responsible for... I'm responsible for many things.
I don't know how you go from one testicle to Simon Calder, but there we go. Top travel correspondent for The Independent. Where are you, Calder? Where are you, in court? What's the matter?
Oh, for goodness sake, Jeremy, I do try to make an effort. No, I'm just on a boat just off the coast of the Isle of Harris in the far northwest of Scotland. It's fairly heavy cloud, the occasional break, bit of blue sky, temperature around about 12 or so.
Sorry, can we rewind? Right, we are sweltering our cobs off, or one in my case, and you are in a suit and tie on a boat in the Outer Hebrides. Why?
Because I'm enjoying life on board Hebridean Princess, where I am, can you believe this, Jeremy, a guest lecturer. I'm entertaining the passengers. Oh, come
what,
on.
for the saga? Is it a saga trip? I'm sorry, that's brilliant. That's brilliant, I love it. I'm only messing.
You. Anyway, but my main purpose today is to keep you and your lovely audience informed about what's happening in the world of travel, and I'm afraid it's another really hot day, and so we are seeing about half the usual rush hour trains in and out of London cancelled, loads of cancellations on the intercity lines, and unfortunately you might, if you're from outside the outside London and the southeast, be looking at the big blob of red and thinking, well, at least we're not there. But unfortunately, all the way around from kind of southwest England through Wales, up to the West Midlands, Northern England, all of Scotland, where, by the way, schools have broken up, and Northern Ireland, it's risk of thunderstorms, which means that anybody flying off to the sunshine or the Mediterranean is running a risk, I'm afraid to say, of cancellations and diversions. We've already seen problems at Edinburgh Airport in the early hours, lots of delays, a couple of hours, one diversion, Ryanair from Portugal, it ended up in Newcastle, and I'm afraid we could see more of that because pilots really don't like flying through thunderstorms. So if you're in the air, well, hope for the best, and
if you're in the air, let's hope for the best.
Well, look, aviation
I think the sun and the heat has got to me, but you make such a good point. I was trying to get back to the coast, as you know, on Southwest train. They were every 2 hours instead of every 30 minutes and taking 3.5 hours. I've heard about stories all across. In fact, to be honest, Simon, rail firms have said don't travel. That heat wave's going to continue, but you're dead right. And what frustrates people is that there's been a thunderstorm. Oh, goodness me, now the train can't run because there's water on the line or something. And I know it's been excessive, but we've talked about this incessantly in the past. We just seem ill-equipped almost in every aspect of travel when the weather isn't just 10 degrees and dry, don't we?
OK, well, you will have found on Southwest Railways, same as Southern and many other train operations, they basically halved the numbers of trains. That's because they are going to be running trains generally slower. That's because the rails are stressed for a range of temperatures from typically about -5 to about +30. If it gets above that, then the rails have more risk of actually buckling in the heat, and you don't want that to happen, so they slow them down. That causes more congestion. They cancel trains and they say basically do not travel today unless your journey is really necessary. Any tickets for today you can actually pretty much use on any train up to and including Tuesday at the end of the month. So you can postpone your journey. Having said that, I think there is, if you've really got to get somewhere today, you probably will get there. Watch out for the line side fires because they unfortunately are more prevalent and they can cause absolute mayhem. You will kind of get through mayhem. If you feel ill, then get off at a station. Don't pull the emergency alarm thing because clearly things are going to be disrupted anyway. And really just hope that you're going to reach your final destination, which you will do, Jeremy, on South Western Railway. But if you were trying to get, for instance, all the way to Exeter from London Waterloo, you'd have to change trains at Salisbury. And,
can I just tell you about this man, ladies and gentlemen? And I was only joking. I mean, you are a font of such information, and I salute you, sir. I salute you, Simon Calder, a man who is in the Isle of Harris in a suit. He's a lecturer. Mate, great. I thought you'd be in shorts in the south of France, but thank you so much. It's great to have you on. The brilliant Simon Calder, travel correspondent for The Independent. So it's time for you to go and get some breakfast.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Good morning, Jez, says Richie in Grimsby. Don't worry about having only one ball. Starmer is bungling his way through life without any.
Well, there you are.
What are you going to have for breakfast?
I think I'm now on a bit of a diet. I know I'm going to get my... I saw some of those pictures of people, you know, on the beaches there that you played bareback earlier on, and I need to make sure that I've got a summer bod ready. Summer 2027, probably, not this year.
Yes.
But I need to lay off the donuts and maybe eat a bit more healthily. So porridge for me this morning, Jeremy.
Yeah, and granola, followed by an almond croissant, 2 sausages, a bacon sandwich and a chocolate milkshake. Thank you very much indeed, Charlie Rowley. You may now go. The news and ladies next on Tour Breakfast.
I listened to Keir Starmer yesterday when he came out, and it looked to me like, I thought for a moment he was saying that he was going to challenge Andy Burnham because he made the case for why he was so brilliant. We all have our own views about that, but it was certainly not a kind of I failed, that's why I've had to go. It was I succeeded, basically you don't want me anymore. And that was that.
More
really.
fool you, yes.
The question my party is asking now is whether I am best placed to lead us into the next general election. I have heard the answer of my parliamentary party to that question, and I accept that answer with good grace. Every decision I've taken has been about putting the country I love first. That is why I will resign as leader of the Labour Party.
Well, you know what, in the end, he did do the right thing, and there were some achievements, and he's an honourable man, and he cared about public service. Guys, that's not what happened just now. In the last half an hour, Keir Starmer resigned, and he resigned because he was pushed. most of his issues, most of the things which have damned him from, let's face it, within days, within weeks of him becoming Prime Minister back in July 2024, or of his own making. They were things he chose to do, cutting the winter fuel allowance, damning everybody who wanted to have a public inquiry on the grooming gangs as jumping onto the far-right bandwagon, the two-tier policing after the Southport riots. This man brought it on himself. He was not a good Prime Minister.
There was two things on that manifesto. One was a picture of Keir Starmer and the word change. Well, promise made and promise delivered in that sense. If he's not, let's be honest. But look, I mean, I don't really want to make light of it, but I am cheesed off, Julia, because what we promised in opposition was competence, and it's been anything but. I'm embarrassed. I'm really, truly, honestly, I am embarrassed, because I did think we would be competent. We've not been.
I've no idea whether there'll be a contest or a coronation. But what I do know is the British public have simply had enough of political parties chopping and changing their leaders at will. We vote for somebody in a general election to be our Prime Minister. We expect them to serve their term. And barring ill health or exceptional circumstances, what is going on here, frankly, is reminiscent of a banana republic that has totally devalued the very process of general elections and democracy. We at Reform demand a general election.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
Welcome back and welcome along. Just got 8 o'clock on Friday the 26th of June. We're live across the United Kingdom. This is Talk, the home of common sense. Not much today. And, of course, about alarm clock Brits, the people who are out there grafting overnight, gone their way now, on the way to school with the kids. The heat wave, the heat wave. It's been a hot, sweaty, sticky, hard week for millions of people across this country. So it's Fun Day Friday. We'll do the serious stuff, but it's okay to talk about whatever you want. 0344 499 1000. And most of you seem to want to talk about the heat wave and questions like, would you sleep with a bag of frozen peas up against your backside? And did you sleep naked last night? Morning, Darren.
Good morning, JK. Darren from not so sunny Bradford at the moment. It's absolutely chucking it down. Yeah, I slept absolutely great. A couple of years ago, put a ceiling fan in above my bed. Best thing I've ever bought.
Brilliant. Did he? No need to sleep naked if the fan's blowing above you. 0344 499 1000. Jezza, I'm envious of you lot sleeping naked. I had to sleep in double pants after eating some out-of-date firecracker mayonnaise chips. Unlike Scotland, I managed to keep a clean sheet, though. Oh, God. Jezza says, Dave, I slept naked last night, but when I woke up, the flight attendant wasn't very happy at all about what I'd done. Thank you. Morning, Jez. I was sleeping naked until last night, but a bug rather unceremoniously bit me where the sun don't shine. I shan't be doing that again. And can I just say to Margaret, I think it's a lovely idea, but I'll just leave this open. She says, when Kins flies over in a few days from LA, why don't you get her to go on a date with Charlie? That'll work. 0344 499 1000. Jeremy, I've been sleeping naked since I was 17. Joined the Royal Navy and you did not sleep wearing pyjamas. Join the Army, be a man. Join the Navy, feel a man, as my father used to say. 0344. Brilliant. I love your messages this morning. Thank you so much indeed for it. Oh, Karen in Newcastle. It's Christian. You see, we have thunderstorms and lightning, so the heating has cooled down. It is true to say that the change in weather is on the way. Jez, actually, just do this, Michelle Nottingham. I always enjoy listening to Charlie. He brings a sense of calm. We had thunder, lightning and rain first thing this morning, but it's all cleared now. We've got blue skies. Great mad show as ever. It's just Fun Day Friday, isn't it? Listen, wherever you are, 0344 499 1000. What are you waking up to? Well, it's been a pretty monumental week in politics. On Monday, Keir Starmer was he was the Prime Minister and the First Lord of the United Kingdom. He had incredible power. In 96 hours later, he's working at selling popcorn at a local cinema. Have a watch, have a listen.
Yeah. Right. Should we serve some up? Yes. Right.
We've got a scoop in here for you.
Fantastic.
And then just behind you here, get some popcorn in that box.
Right, as if I've been doing it for years. Right, who wants the first one? Here we go. Look at that. Do you think that's enough in that? Or do you need to put more? Are you sure?
That's fine.
That's a lot, isn't it?
Yeah.
What's your favourite film? Ah, yeah. Who else hasn't got one? Come forward. What's your favourite film? Resignation? Yeah, it is. That's provocative when you're being served by an Arsenal fan.
Here's the thing. This is a great idea, just because it's Fun Day Friday. Film titles for Starmer, please. 87222. We had Nightmare on Downing Street. 87... Raiders of the Lost Pension, 87222. There he is. Do you know what Christian said during that clip, right? Growing up, you'd have thought, wouldn't you, that to be Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, you'd have to be good at almost any job. He's absolutely crap at every job, isn't he? Now, just to talk about this, he's doing it with grace, and Andy Burnham, the King of the North, him of the eyebrows and black T-shirts, according to Bagner. He's on the way. But the other person yesterday who was sort of in the spotlight was our dear Chancellor of the Exchequer, Rachel Thieves, Rachel from Accounts, as Lee Anderson calls her. This is a lady who has been joined almost metaphorically at the hip with Starmer for 6 years. Cast him aside. When he was resigning, she was trying to get a selfie with Andy Burnham. But she was asked yesterday, this is brilliant, by Sophie Richardson-Sky, you know, what would you say is important about being Chancellor? This is the response from the most powerful financial person in the United Kingdom lately. Now, just put this against the Prime Minister serving popcorn. This is the Chancellor being asked something about a job.
What would your advice be to anyone in the future taking on the role as Chancellor?
I'm not sure if anyone wants my advice.
I can't believe the two of the most powerful jobs in the world, and they were run by two completely incompetent people. Incompetent, did I say incontinent? Oh, God, it's the thought of that sleeping naked. Good morning, my favourite guest, Chief Political Writer at Spite, Brendan O'Neill. How are you?
Hi, Jeremy. I'm good, thanks.
I'm so sorry. It's the heat that's got to us, Brendan, after a week of madness, and Fun Day Friday is the only way I get through this madness. Keir Starmer starts on Monday as the Prime Minister, and by Thursday night he's working as a popcorn server at a cinema. And Rachel Thieves, did you hear her answer? I didn't.
But, you know, when you see those clips of Starmer and Reeves, him with the popcorn and her kind of stammering like an idiot, you realise we've been ruled by chumps for the past couple of years, just people who don't know what they're doing, don't know how to run an office, never mind a country. But, you know, to seal the deal, we've got Andy Burnham sweeping in a coup, voted for by under 25,000 people in Makerfield, and yet he's going to rule the country. We're in dangerous times, Jeremy.
It's been an extraordinary week, on a serious note. The Andy Burnham thing, and I'm 61 next week, aren't I? Good God. I've never seen anything. I mean, if you'd planned it, that would have been seen as a clinical, brilliant coup. Yeah. 12 days ago, this man wasn't even an MP. 14 days ago. He is now receiving government briefings and meetings with the Cabinet Secretary before the nominations have even opened to be the next Labour leader. He's a shoo-in. And it is extraordinary, maybe it isn't, that all of these MPs, on the back of, obviously, the May election results and on the back of what they perceive to be Starmer's weakness, have rode in behind this man and given him a free pass to the most powerful job in the United Kingdom.
You know, when you put it like that, Jeremy, it's a disgrace. And I've been thinking about this myself, just the way in which he's sweeping into power. You know, as you say, he wasn't an MP, he was the Mayor of Manchester. What that means is in the general election in 2024, not one person in this country voted for him. He wasn't even voted into Parliament. So we had a general election to pick a leader for the country. He wasn't anywhere on any ballot paper anywhere in the country, and yet he's going to become Prime Minister on the back of 25,000 votes in Makerfield. Mayfield. It is a coup. And you know what we're now seeing? We're now seeing the cult of Andy Burnham. When I saw all those Labour MPs, look, in that photo, fawning over him, goggle-eyed, like a bunch of cult members, it was absolutely creepy. And, you know, what an indictment of the Parliamentary Labour Party, that there is not one member that could take a leadership of their party. They had to go outside the Parliamentary Labour Party, up to the north, drag this bloke down to London and say, please save us. What a state that party's in.
Well, actually, I rather liked what Sarah Vine said the other day in the Mail, and I'd love your take on this. She said that he's the Labour equivalent of Boris Johnson. There's a flair, there's a personality. I mean, Christ, this cup of tea's got a personality after Starmer, but there's something about him that people will follow. But she made the point that very quickly substance is going to be questioned. I ask you this as a political writer with all your experience. Andy Burnham will not be replaced in the next 3 years. Andy Burnham has answered an SOS and I think will be responsible, hear me out, for saving the Labour Party from extinction. I think he'll manage that. Do I think he'll win the next election? No. Do I think it will unravel? Absolutely yes. But my question to you and to people all morning has been this. Does he have the political capital amongst the Parliamentary Labour Party, or even the balls, to do the 2 or 3 things that need to be done instantly to even begin to get the audience, I say the audience, I mean the electorate, interested? Is he going to stop the boats? Is he going to drill in the North Sea because energy is at the root cause, the energy prices of why our country is on its backside? Is he actually going to have the cojones to say to his backbench Labour MPs, the welfare benefits bill is an absolute disgrace. I don't care if Starmer couldn't get 5 billion. I'm cutting it by 50 because otherwise we are finished beyond all comprehension.
He's not going to do any of that. He really isn't. I agree with you. You know, in comparison with Starmer, he's got a bit of personality. But in comparison with Starmer, you know, a table's got a bit of personality. Starmer was the most wooden, ridiculous prime minister we've had in a very long time. So, you know, Andy Burnham's got a pulse, which is more than can be said for Sir Keir. But he's not going to do any of those things, Jeremy, and that's what's going to ruin his premiership, and that's what's going to mean that, I hope, Labour gets voted out in the next general election.
What if he does, Brendan? What if he... I mean, I'm with you, but what if he does? What if somewhere in the ethos of Andy Burnham's mind it strikes him that... Because, by the way, if he told those 400 Labour MPs, they'd have to row behind him. They can't get rid of him, right? They can't. It just won't work for them. What if he literally said, I'm cutting the benefits bill, I'm getting rid of you, Miliband, I'm not doing it anymore, I'm going to... I don't think it'll happen, but if it did, the far, well, the right, you think reform, you think the Tories, even further than that, right? You know, even Restore and people like that, they're going to be neutered in a single act, aren't they? I'd be saying that to Andy Burnham if I worked for the Labour Party.
You know, I'm at the stage where I don't care who gets a grip of the crises that we're living through, just so long as someone does. Yeah. You know, there's the border crisis, there's the welfareism crisis, there is the all the other crises that we're going through, the crime crisis, the energy crisis, this refusal to dig for oil to improve manufacturing. Anyone who gets on top of those crises gets my vote. Burnham is not going to do that. There is already discussion that he wants to water down Shabana Mahmood's pretty mild reforms to the migration system, where she wants to cancel indefinite leave to remain for certain migrants, including care workers. He wants to backtrack on that. He has no authority whatsoever to backtrack on that. He can't do that on the basis of 25,000 votes when there are millions upon millions of people in this country who want the migrant crisis sorted out.
And also millions of people in this country, in fact 70+ million, who have no idea what his agenda is. And I'm not... Listen, the Tories find it very difficult to have this debate because they did exactly the same. Their argument, which you just put forward, was he wasn't even part of the Labour Party that was fighting that last election. I've said till I'm blue in the face, I don't care if you're an MP that changes in mid-term and defects. I don't care whether you're a Prime Minister who's handed the job on a plate. I believe the British electorate have an absolute right to make a decision. I said that to Robert Jenrick's face yesterday, and I continue to say it. But the Conservatives created this mess, and the Labour Party are doing exactly the same. And this, you could say, could strengthen other parties. But no, I think it's outrageous that 24,900 and something people in Makerfield are going to allow a man to impose on the United Kingdom and all of its people exactly what he wants, and we don't even know what's coming. What's the difference between that and Starmer? Because he didn't have a plan. He used to do things every day.
Absolutely right. And, you know, the people of Makerfield don't want that stuff either. I was up in Makerfield the other week before the election, and people, the number one issue in that constituency is migration. I can tell you that for an absolute fact.
How did he win so far then, Bren? How did he win so far?
I think there were so many unique factors at play in that election. I think Reform could have done better. They could have been clearer in what they were saying to the electorate. But also there was the Starmer factor. People knew that if they voted for Burnham, Starmer would go. So they had a real opportunity.
Do you think people swapped their votes, which is what Reform had said, which is what the Tory party had said? Do you think people that might have just voted for him to get rid of Keir Starmer?
Oh, absolutely. If you look at the Lib Dem vote and the Green vote and the Tory vote, they all plummeted in Makerfield in that by-election because all those people lent their votes to Burnham, partly because they wanted Starmer out and partly because these people hate Reform. But there are loads of working class people up in Makerfield. I spoke to a lot of them. Robert Kenyon, the Reform candidate, told me the exact same thing. He said every door he knocked on, people talked about immigration. So any Prime Minister who refuses to get a handle, especially on the Boris wave, on those 2+ million people who came to this country, who are driving down wages, who will cost us £154 billion in the long run if they are allowed to stay forever. Why, people are asking, why are we paying for the upkeep of people who were not born here, some of whom are not working here? It's driving people round the twist, and I don't think Burnham's going to get a handle on that.
Be interesting to do. Just very quickly, there's a story out this morning about Shabana Mahmood, because they're all pitching for jobs, aren't they? They're all positioning themselves. She asked Starmer to sack her junior minister Mike Tapp after he wrote an unauthorised article calling for foreign care workers to be exempt from her hardline immigration form. Mike Tapp, immigration minister, quite close to Starmer, and Starmer said, no, I'm not sacking him, in a snub to her. Is she doing this to curry favour with Mr Burnham? Because if you look at them all, they're all rushing around trying to get into his good books, aren't they?
Yeah, it seems to me that Mike Tapp is doing this to curry favour with Burnham. Yeah. He's kind of thinking, well, if Burnham's going to be soft on these reforms, I should be too. I think he behaved really badly. He broke the ministerial code. You are not supposed to do this. You're a minister. If you work for the Home Secretary, you're supposed to discuss things privately and have those kind of discussions behind closed doors, and he went public in the Times. So he behaved in the wrong manner. I support Shabana Mahmood on this. I think her reforms are sensible. They don't go nearly far enough, but she does...
They're a start for a Labour Home Secretary, aren't they?
She does seem to believe in them, and no one else in Labour does, including, it seems, Andy Burnham.
Let's just say, very quickly, Andy Burnham is the Prime Minister, and we haven't had nominations yet, but it's a shoo-in to me. Just the 4 big offices. Who gets the Chancellor's job in your mind?
Well, we're all hearing the discussion about Ed Miliband. I mean, that's game over for this country.
I'm leaving if he's the Chancellor. If he's got the levers on the financial power, I'm done. I'm out of here.
Imagine Ed Miliband in charge of our money. He won't drill for oil. He won't frack for gas. He's not going to invest. He's not going to look after our cash, is he? That would be a disaster if that happens. But it could happen. I think Burnham could make that stupid choice.
I think you'll laugh at me. I think that he'll send him abroad as Foreign Secretary, grandiose job and away from the levers of power. I think Yvette Cooper might have a chance, but I think Wes Streeting. Mahmood's an interesting one. Don't count out Healy being brought back, Al Khan's as well, but he's got to bring some new blood. The most frightening thing for me is that Angela Rayner, Lucy Powell and Louise Haig, a convicted fraudster. They'll be back in the Cabinet. The girls up north. It'll be fun. Mate, thank you. As ever, a real pleasure. And you know what? Check him out on Spiked. It's absolutely fantastic online. Thank you, Brendan. We'll speak to you very soon. 8:20, we're live across the UK. Stop! Because you know what it is. Oliver William Kyle today has moving up day, Christian. Do you know what that means? He's moving up from one class year to another. Today they spend a day with the new teacher. It's a big, big move, Ollie. Love you loads. Hope it goes well. And Rissy Roo, love you too. See you later. A lot has been made about Rachel Reeves. She hasn't been very happy. She's worried that she'll have a job taken away from her. And yesterday, just to repeat, I'm going to show it again, she was asked by Sophie Ridge from Sky, you know, what being Chancellor's all about and what perhaps she would say to anybody about the experiences of her job. And this was the second most powerful person in the United Kingdom's reply.
What would your advice be to anyone in the future taking on the role as Chancellor?
I'm not sure if anyone wants my advice.
No, they don't. Let's look at Rach in happier times. Here we go. This is lovely.
I've been hearing about you in the news that you like taxes. If you had 3 wishes, what would it be?
Oh my goodness. To answer your questions well, to make sure that all children have a good start in life, and for my own children to give me less chat back. I don't think that third one's going to come true.
If you could have another job, what would that be?
Oh, well, what I'd really like to be is Beyonce, but I don't think I'm ever going to be Beyonce. So before I became an MP, I worked in finance. I worked in banks and financial institutions. So I guess that's what I would go back to doing. But at the moment, I'm doing the job that I want more than any other job. I'm in charge of the country's finances. All right? Yeah, you happy with my answers? I get a high five. Hey, very good.
Sorry, just a couple of things about that. You worked in the finances, did you? Did you? Really? Beyonce isn't a job, OK? Beyonce's a singer. Honest to God. Honestly, now, stepping back from it, Thieves and Starmer are like the worst, most uncommunicative, wooden, robotic double duo of misery and madness that we could even possibly have thought about. Anyway, are we going straight to him? Here's a man... Actually, let's just do this from Paul. Paul, good morning.
Morning, Jezza. I think sleeping naked is the best way, with a fan on, and if you want to get really cold, get a frozen Calippo, those little ice lolly things, put it between your bum cheeks and it cools you down lovely. The only trouble is when it defrosts, it gets a bit messy. Love the show, bye.
I don't recommend a Calippo or a Twister or a shock ice, or indeed, what are they called, an ice pop, or anything at all. I don't suggest that you put that between wherever the sun don't shine. But thank you, Paul, for your input. 0344 499 1000. It is Fun Time Friday, but there's also one or two serious things in the news. And next, a man who we must be serious with our next bit, because he's a very serious politician, the Deputy Chairman of the Conservative Party. Matt Vickers, good morning.
Good morning.
What are you doing, man? Where are you? You look up. Have you become shrunk? If you're watching on television, Matt Vickers looks half the size. I can't do this. It's a miniature Matt Vickers. What's happened, man? What's going on?
I really don't know. We're having a bad day today, Jeremy. Not only am I sweaty as hell, I first stop this morning was meant to be in here. We got here and then they said, oh, this studio's broke, run home and put your laptop on.
Right.
Run in this weather. I didn't even have any Calippos.
Mate,
it was a sweaty mess.
If you could see... Can somebody take a screenshot and send it to Matt on my phone? Because I look like the Jolly Green Giant and you look like the smallest person. He's going to send it to you now. Morning, my friend. We've had a bit of fun because it's been a horrendous... On a serious note, it must have been in Parliament. Jack Elson was saying that it was ridiculous in Parliament this week.
Oh, it's been grim. It's been very, very sweaty.
It's been a phenomenally interesting week, by all accounts. What's it been like from the sidelines, watching this man who, up to 96 hours ago, 14 days ago, wasn't even an MP, and he's all set to be given the keys and the biggest job in Great Britain? What's the feeling amongst your colleagues, my friend?
Well, I think the biggest relief is that Rachel Reeves has no advice for whoever takes over from her. That's probably a positive.
Yeah.
I think watching it, when you think they've got, 400 and some MPs... and none of them fit to do the job, so much so they've got to get the guy from Manchester in. It just looks a bit shambolic. And now we've gone 6 months, we've been listening to a Prime Minister whose overriding priority was to keep his job. Everyone in his cabinet wanted to get his job. Mm-hmm. We've now got to the point where we're going to go through 3 months of limbo. And already they're all falling out, trying to appease one another.
Well, this is what I was going to ask you. I don't think we will. There are rumours today that the National Executive Committee of the Labour Party, we haven't even opened nominations. Nobody will stand against him. He will be in 10 Downing Street by the 17th of July, which is unheard of, because the country, and this is what I wanted to ask you from a Tory point of view, the country has no idea at all about his plans. I know people will say the Tories did it, but at least the people that were given those jobs had been part of standing on a manifesto. Nobody knows what Burnham stands for.
But the reality is we don't know what he stands for. I don't think he knows what he stands for. He doesn't have a plan. This is a man who's supported, opposed and been not too bothered about every position going, whether it's the EU, whether it's welfare, whatever it might be. And WASPy women, he's all over the place. His position should... We thought Starmer was the king of flip-flop. We ain't seen nothing yet.
He's also brought back, quite interesting, he's already admitted that his chief of staff will be James Purnell, who was, of course, a Blairite. And then you've got these ladies from the north who are vehemently left-wing. Is he going to fall into that trap of trying to please all the people all the time, Matt?
I think that's where we're going to be. It just doesn't work. But the reality is he is at the helm of a Labour Party that wants to tax anybody who works more and more. And anybody who's on benefits is going to go home with more and more without working. We're in the same place with it. The Labour Party is the party of welfare. Everything else goes out the window. We'll all pay more and more in tax. We'll have less teachers in our schools, less police on our streets. But don't worry about it, because we can still give huge amounts of money to people who don't work.
Well, this is
all those people who are on the way to work this morning.
This is my question that I've put to everybody today, buddy, and there's a reason for this. Because I believe that Andy Burnham, if he did one of the following three things, could burst reforms bubble, and however impressive Kemi, and it was brilliant the other day about Bridget Phillipson, spiteful class warrior, what a line. They didn't like it up, and she didn't like that phrase, apparently. But the point is this. The point is, I want to know, in your opinion, that a man who has been sort of answered an SOS, who has complete control over 400 MPs right now. There's no way they will get rid of him in the next 3 years. Has he either got the political capital, Matt, or indeed the cojones to say to them, I'm going to do three things, one of three things. I'm going to stop the boats. I'm going to slash the welfare bill. I'm going to start drilling in the North Sea, because you and I know that if he didn't even did one of those, that would resonate with the British public, wouldn't it?
Well, I'm happy to go in there and help him out. We've got a plan. Leave the ECHR, start detaining and deporting anyone who arrives illegally, get drilling in the North Sea, axe that welfare bill. In fact, when it comes down to it, Kemi has pledged him the support of our MPs. If there is something we can do to control our borders that's in the national interest, we'll back him. If he'll do something that's realistic and cut in the welfare bill so that hard-working people are getting value for money from the country, we're happy to back him. Come and see us, Andy. We've got a plan.
Do you think that he answer the question, little man on the screen? Sorry, it's brilliant. Does he have the political capital or the cojones to stand in front of those 400 MPs and say, I don't care that you forced Starmer out or that you wouldn't even allow, I'm cutting 50 billion off the welfare benefits bill right now. Would he do that with everything inside him as a socialist, do you think?
Those 400 MPs, that Labour Party, remember all the things that they've voted for, whether it be what they're doing to our veterans, their opposition to a grooming gangs inquiry, the overriding thing they've done is their complete ideology that people who don't work should be taking more home. Even when Starmer tried to some pitiful reductions in our welfare spending, they wouldn't back him.
Yeah.
They're diametrically opposed to the hard-working people at home who want to get on in life, work hard and have a few quid left at the end of the week.
I mean, I couldn't agree more. Can I just ask you a couple of stories in the papers today? Front of the Mail, Matty. Labour to free waves of killers and rapists early. Criminals guilty of the most serious offences will now be released just halfway through their sentences. One thing that I pick up on, you do the papers with me every week, and one thing that always comes out is the British public's almost revulsion towards the justice system nowadays, that whether you get a year or 5 years or 10 years or 15 years, there's no damn point in getting sentenced or anything because you never serve time. I want a party that says to me 5 years means 5 years and 10 years means 10 years. I don't want any government that says we're going to free people who've committed crimes, whatever level. I want prisons built and I want people to understand if you break the law, there are consequences in your actions, aren't there?
Everything is going the wrong way. There are less police on our streets, and now the idea that people who've committed sexual and violent offences should be allowed out after serving just 50% of the sentence. It's an absolute disgrace. It's unacceptable. It's putting people in danger, and it's doing nothing to deter these vile, sick individuals who commit such crimes. It's appalling. It's abhorrent. It's not acceptable. But on top of that, already tens of thousands of people have been released early.
Yeah.
And, undermining your friend David Lammy, the number of people who have been accidentally released, the wrong people let out, is up by about 120%. It's absolute record levels of accidental releases. It is a shambles, but we don't expect any less from this lot.
But I don't understand the lack of, and I'm being completely serious, the lack of common sense with so much about this government. And I repeat the question, does Andy Burnham have the sense to try and change the game plan in your mind, Matt Vickers?
I don't think he does. I think he's a weather vane. He's going to be here, there and everywhere. What we know of Andy Burnham is he can change his positions like the Kama Sutra. He's all over the space. He's Starmer Mark II. But whatever you do with whoever's at the helm, with that lot stood behind him, voting against any efforts to reduce welfare, any efforts to put more cops on the street, he's not going to get anywhere, even if he did want to do it.
Now, this is a proof that this show is never, ever planned. You talk about the Kama Sutra. Two things I want to ask you in respect to that. Lara Bird, have you heard this story?
No.
Oh, Matty, come on, man. Lara Bird is the new SNP candidate who won the election for Arbroath and turned up at the House of Commons on the day that Andy Burnham did on Monday. And when she was doing a swearing in, instead of putting her hand up and saying, I swear allegiance thing, she did that thing with her fingers crossed like that when kids go, yeah, whatever, and was shaking her head from side to side. She's very Scottish, very brave. Standing for the people of Arbroath. But then we found something yesterday. Did you not watch and listen? So Lara Bird
This is the not-so-Scottish lady.
Well, she's not so Scottish. She's got a double-barrelled name. She's called Pyla Lara Bird Cleaky, I think, or something. And she came to a public school in the Middle England. And I'm just going to play this for you because this has been requested more than anything. First up, we've got Lara, the pro-Palestinian English person. And then we've got Lara, the anti-establishment SNP candidate. You make your own mind up, Matt Vickers.
It's clearly also not about natural resources because Greenland have made it clear that if the US want to mine for their natural resources, they can.
I do swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to His Majesty King Charles, his heirs and successors, according to the law, so help me God.
Matt Vickers?
These people give politicians a bad name.
I mean, Jacob Rees-Mogg said yesterday she'll be followed by that forever, won't she, man?
You say that, but a week's a long time in politics. People forget these things. But yeah, it's like a contrast between listening to me and Jacob Rees-Mogg, really, isn't it?
I asked him to do a Scots accent, which I wouldn't ask you to do, and he went, "There's a moose loose about this hoose." That's all he could do for me. Matty Vickers, there is one final question. Do you want to answer the question or not? A heat bomb, a heat wave. This show does its best to be serious, but it has been, by its audience, I've been demanded to ask this one question of all people on today. Did you sleep in the buff last night because of the heat?
There was no Calippos involved. I'll leave it to people's imagination.
Wow, there's a thought. You're a legend, mate. We love having you on. We'll see you next week. Have a great weekend in the mighty Stockton, the legend that is Matt Vickers, Deputy Chairman of the Tory Party. Thank you very much indeed. Many people calling to see that Rachel Reeves malfunction video. I'm just going to do it again. Rachel Reeves yesterday, the brilliant Sophie Ridge from Sky says, what would you say to anybody that's important about being Chancellor of the Exchequer, Rach?
What would your advice be to anyone in the future taking on the role as Chancellor?
I'm not sure if anyone wants my advice.
Sorry, Cindy, good morning.
Good morning, JK. This is Cindy in Michigan, United States. I just want to say, how delusional must Rachel Reeves be to be proud, to say she's proud of her record? I'm here in America and I can even see she's delusional. I wish you well. Thank you. Bye.
We've got some breaking news that has just come in. talkSPORT have announced a brand new partnership in a developing story. We hear they've created So Good Lager right in time for football's big summer. Just in, we're hearing that So Good Lager will be pouring pints across all O'Neill's pubs and some of the best sports pubs across the UK. With the big kickoff just around the corner, you can find out where to get your hands on a fresh pint of So Good Lager at talksport.com/lager.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
Oh, I love this show. Welcome back, 20 to 9. We're live across the United Kingdom. This is Talk Breakfast, the home of common sense. It's where your views on the day's news are welcome on 0344 499 1000. We've been talking about how Buckingham Palace is undergoing a £369 million refurbishment, but the King and Queen will never live there again. And before you complain, it's because it's going to be opened up so that the public across the world can visit it and money can be returned to our coffers. Front of the Daily Mail, Labour to free waves of killers and rapists early. That shocked many people. The heatwave continues one more day, but knowing that it's Fun Time Friday, despite all the serious news, you lot are more obsessed, it seems, well, with how to keep cool. Although very quickly, Stephen says, Jez, you got it wrong on Rachel from Accounts. Did the interviewer not say, could you give us your best Boris Johnson impression? Jez, good morning. If the King's not living at the palace, why doesn't he open up the house for the homeless veterans? Great idea. JK, if Miliband becomes Chancellor, it's game over. Now, let's talk peas. Earlier on, Kinsey Schofield, the legend that is Kinsey Schofield, who lives in LA where it's always hot, said that the way that she keeps cool at night is to have several bags of frozen peas around her being, along with her 4 dogs. I'm quoting her. David Whitney says, I got so hot the other day, I grabbed a pack of frozen peas from the freezer, dropped me undercrackers and held the peas against my nether region. It was absolute heaven, but it got me banned from life for Tesco's. David, you lot are a nightmare. Scott, good morning. Where is it? Where are you, Scott? Berkshire?
I'm just leaving Newbury now. I'm in a car transporter off doing my deliveries this morning.
What can we do for you, sir?
Well, you're on about the peas, the great pea debate. And Jeremy, other vegetables are available. You can use them again, just don't eat them. Put them in your bed at night, get up in the morning, chuck them back in the freezer, put them back in bed the next night. Simple.
Why have we got to a point where peas are the answer? Why doesn't somebody fill up a hot water bottle with water and freeze it and hold that? Why do peas? Why?
Have you ever had a hot water bottle burst on you, Jeremy? Imagine waking up to that in the morning and thinking, oh, what's happened here?
So peas are definitely the answer?
Well, as I say, other vegetables are available in frozen bags.
Brilliant. And did you sleep naked last night?
Yes, I did. And it was absolute torture in here last night. No air conditioning.
Is there a danger that a naked man, for example, falling asleep with a bag of frozen peas could, in fact, end up with, I don't know, problems. I mean, could the frostbite? Yes, frostbite.
Not worth thinking about, really, is it?
Not really. I mean, there's a lot of things one wouldn't want down there, and frostbite's one of them. Thank you, Scott, in Berkshire. I love these people. They just don't give up, do they? We also said Keir Starmer on Monday was the Prime Minister of England. By last night, he was working in a popcorn shop somewhere in Huddersfield. Play that clip again. This is bloody brilliant.
Popcorn?
Yeah.
Right. Shall we serve some up?
Yes.
Right.
We've got a scoop in here for you.
Fantastic.
And then just behind you here, get some popcorn in that box.
That's as if I've been doing it for years. Right, who wants the first one? Here we go. Look at that. Do you think that's enough in that? Or do you think you should put more? Are you sure?
That's fine.
That's a lot, isn't it?
Yeah.
What's your favourite film? Ah, yeah. Who else hasn't got one? Come forward. What's your favourite film? Resignation? Yeah, it is. That's provocative when you're being said by an Arsenal fan.
I mean, I've had enough go at him for 2 years. He can't even do that job properly using the scooper for popcorn, but it inspired us to say, because we have, what's your favourite film? What's your favourite film? So what is a Starmer-linked film? Hello to Dan from Kent. Morning, JK. Films. Kieran, Present Danger. Very good. The Good, the Bad and the Starmer. And Indiana Jones and the Labour Party of Doom. Good morning to Paul Hamilton. Star Wars Return of the Andy. Star Trek The Search for Gangs. And one for Miliband, Gone with the Bleeding Wind. Keir Starmer, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. John from Norwich. JK, Rachel Reeves stuttering like a Wally wearing that awful Pepto-Bismol pink suit. Sorry, that's terrible, but it's true. What a joke she makes of us all on the world stage. Look at the guys in the White House, always immaculately dressed in sharp suits, looking the business, wearing that awful Pepto-Bismol pink suit. Swallow this suit and your stomach complaints will be over. Claire, good morning. A film would be There's Something About Starmer. It will either be winning an award as Best Comedy or maybe being the disaster film of 2026, says Claire in Buckley. Hello to Sean from Cornwall. There's only one film for Starmer. Clueless. Roger from Wales. Popcorn Starmer is rumoured to be replacing Tom Hanks for a new blockbuster called Forrest Gump. Morning, Jez. Here's a new film, Honey, I Shrunk the Majority, or Gone in 60 Seconds. That's Nikki in Bristol. That's brilliant. Star Wars. That's brilliant as well. Jez, how come you can remember 76? I'm 72 and have no recollection. In fact, no recollection of anything. I can't even remember last week. Says Tom. Oh, my God. Jez, can you ask the people? Well, so just announce, right, just announce to all of you who are listening, people, this is from, I don't know. Jez, ask the people. This is all of you peeps. Can you put a bowl of cold water out in your garden with some bird food? The little birds lose out against the big birds. I want to look after the little birds. So it's a message of hope. I'm dribbling. Could you please put a bowl of water out? It's got to be cold. Any ice? You don't think so? For the little birds. The little birds. It's like little Matt Vickers against big Jeremy Kyle. If you just tuned in, Matt was in a studio somewhere in London and he'd become very, very small. Just a wee little Matty Vickers. That's lovely. Morning to Big Rob in Newcastle. We'll play your message soon, big man. Jez, let's face it, King Charles and the royal family are now surrounded by large groups of people in London who absolutely despise them, so moving out of Buckingham Palace seems sensible. Morning, Jez. Keith in Wolverhampton. Always sleep naked. He said, and I'm sat in the back garden in just my man pants right now, sweating like a glassblower. Happy Friday. Happy fun Friday to you, my friends. 0344 499 1000. This is Talk Breakfast.
You've got to be single-minded about your plan, and you've got to follow through and not back down. The geography helps countries like Australia, but also the UK. I mean, across Europe, you know, they look the other way. I think unintentionally all those years ago, one regulation changes in a province in Germany, and all of a sudden you get a wave of mass migration. The thing about immigration is this: if you get it wrong, the consequences are generational.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
Welcome back, my friends. 10 to 9. Alex Phillips here from 10. Ian Collins from 1. And Kev O'Sullivan on Drive. That's how you line up and talk today. 0344 499 1000. We've tried to be serious, but it's ridiculous. Keir Starmer started the week as the Prime Minister and last night ended up serving popcorn in a cinema somewhere in Milton Keynes. The Chancellor, the most important financial person in this country, when asked about her job, went, but couldn't speak. It's an absolute farce. Andy Burnham back in Manchester, but heading for power in Downing Street. Your response to that story as well. The heatwave has just caused bedlam across the United Kingdom, so we've had you getting involved. How did you keep cool last night? Most of you want to inform us that you slept naked, and also films, because when he was serving popcorn, Stan was going, what's your favourite film? Thank you, they're brilliant. 87222 Pete goes, Starmer Wars, yeah, brilliant. Nightmare on Downing Street, says Andrew in Salisbury. It's 10 to 9. I just want to do this story very quickly. Brilliant. A top bishop yesterday said churches should fly the English flag, but only if they can justify it. Sorry? The Right Reverend Martin Snow, it's quite funny in the middle of a heatwave, warned that churches should provide interpretation to explain why the flag was a positive symbol. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't have to provide it. That's my flag. I can do it whenever I can, Reverend. Andrew Allison, Head of Campaigns at Popular Conservatism. Your thoughts, my friend?
Good morning, Jeremy. I mean, my thoughts are that this story was a great one initially. This Bishop of Leicester is encouraging everyone, every church to fly the St. George's flag, our patron saint. Absolutely brilliant. Then he goes on about talking about reclaiming the flag back from the nationalists. Now, what does he mean by that? I think he means people like us, Jeremy, people who are concerned about high levels of immigration into the country, who are concerned about illegal immigrants coming into hotels near them. They're the people who are worried for their wives, their daughters, their girlfriends. And then this idea that you have to explain the reason why your church is flying the flag. Well, that is blindingly obvious, isn't it? It is the flag of St. George, and St. George is our patron saint. That's it. Explanation over. So, yeah, on the face of it, a rather good story, Jeremy, but once again, the woke Church of England shows us what it's like.
I probably won't be very popular for saying this. I don't have to justify to anybody why I want to fly my flag. I agree with you absolutely, Andrew. The Church of England needs to look at what's happened to its attendances over the last few years and work out that it should stick its nose into dealing with its own problems and things that matter to it, rather than getting involved. And again, it's a bit like politics to me. Religious leaders like Reverend Martin Snow, because here's the thing, do they not understand that the views that you feel and I feel about the flag, about this country's identity, about its standing, its history, its traditions and the things that made it great, and yes, there are problems, right? We're not going to change. We're not far-right thugs. We're not racists. We're just people who have every right to be proud. But I don't think these people listen in any way to the silent majority. And I think it's the same with politicians. And I think it's going to end up with so many people realising that they just are wrong and that they're out of touch and they're of no interest to people anymore.
We know that they're wrong and they're out of touch, Jeremy. The majority of British people know that. And you're right about Church of England attendances. I mean, I was a communicant member of the Church of England for nearly 40 years, but I left last year and I became a Catholic. I mean, there are many reasons for that, but part of it was the whole wokeness of the Church of England. I remember standing for the General Synod of the Church of England a few years ago, and someone was asked what the Church's top priorities were for the next 5 years. And one woman said climate change. She then spoke for 2 or 3 minutes continuously about climate change. And surprise, surprise, she was elected, and people like me were not. So
do you think, as a wider description of where we're at as a society, you know, I try to have this conversation, I've said it many times, with my 22-year-old. She thinks I'm not heinous, she thinks that I'm so out of touch and that everything I've ever been taught is alien to anything that makes sense. And, you know, Winston Churchill's a racist and Nigel Farage is the devil incarnate and anybody that, you know, all of these things. And I always say to her, I'm really happy to have a debate. But what her generation wants is to say to people like you and me, you're racist because you support the flag. Everything in the past that my parents, her grandparents taught us should be consigned to history, and I won't do that. It's not even being pig-headed or dogmatic. I believe there's many things that I don't believe in, but there's a lot that I think from our past that I'm sick of being trashed in front of my eyes, that this generation and this world would benefit from looking at properly, but not through the prism of, oh, you're this, you're that, you're the other. Do you see it changing in our lifetime? Is it slowly getting back there or not?
I've had the good fortune to speak to many student societies over the years. Of course, they're more conservative, they're more sort of libertarian societies at universities, and they certainly brighten my day because I see a lot of people who agree with us. They're people who are proud of our country and have no problems with flying the flag. I think a lot of this goes back to what children are taught in schools. It goes back to history. They're being taught to be ashamed of our history, when I think we should be proud of our history. We are, we're an old country, Jeremy. Of course, the things that we've done over the years that we're perhaps not too proud of. But when I think you look at the balance sheet, that Britain has overwhelmingly been a good for the world, and I think we should be proud of that.
Mate, thank you so much. It's nice to know sometimes that actually I'm not mad and that there are people who think the same as me, and it's always...
And you're not an old dinosaur, as your daughter might want to call you.
Yeah, well, there you go. Do you know what I said last week? This dinosaur's going to keep believing in what this dinosaur believes in. And don't worry, I'll pay for your flat next month. Good luck, bloody entitled generation. Thank you so much indeed, Andrew. 0344 499 1000. We had a text message a minute ago from a man who said, and I quote, Christian, can we please put bowls of water out for the little birds? Look what Mrs. Kyle's done. She's put a... Can you zoom in on that? She's put iced water for the little birds in the Kyle. Look at that. Isn't that just a wonderful picture there of my dining room? Where's that, the garden table? Which garden's that? No, I'm joking. There it is. And she's put an iced bowl of water out. Isn't that a lovely thing? All those little birds. There you go. 0344... She needs to get the garden around. The grass looks like it needs a cut. 0344 499 1000. Right, World Cup. Game 3 of our qualification Saturday night, 10 o'clock, British Standard Time, against Panama. Let's say a very good morning to Josh Hall, football reporter for The Sun. Play the old stabby, boy.
90 minutes in 90 seconds. From The Sun.
Morning, Josh. How are you, kiddo?
Morning, good, thank you. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm your average football fan, my friend. I got a little bit excited, promising myself I wouldn't after Croatia. Utterly despondent that we can't break 10 man down in Ghana. We'll get past Panama and then we'll fall flat on our face. Now, I know everybody goes, that's a bit cynical, but really, or are we going to build under Tuchel and it's all going to be fine? Inspire me, Josh.
Well, look, they're definitely a good team, this England setup. I think that Ghana game was... Obviously, there's some concerns there, but when a team isn't setting up to win, it's so hard to break them down over the course of 90 minutes.
But I'm going to disagree with you and say this to you. Would not France, Spain and Brazil have broken down Ghana? Of course they would have done.
Well, look, Spain didn't manage to break down in their first game. They drew 0-0, didn't they? It does happen in these tournaments. And the important thing to remember is that England are going to get through this group. And then when it matters, when those knockout games come, that's when we can start being concerned if they look like they can't break down teams.
We always want to have more time, but every bit of information you need. There's also talk, apart from that, about flog on the Tyne. Toon Raiders, Arsenal, Bruno talk, Spurs back for Tonali. Major changes apparently apparently at St James's Park. A prediction for Saturday night, though, my friend. What's it going to be, Josh? England against Panama?
England 3, Panama 0. England should run away with that one, I think.
Good man. Everything you need in Sun Sports. Thank you, my friend. This is Talk Breakfast. Morning, Rob.
Morning, Jez. Little story about yesterday and a little bit how this country looks at the moment. I'm in a lift on the ground floor in a department store, which is full of old people travelling up to the top to get a cup of tea in the nice shop that's there. The lift's about to shut and the door all of a sudden is held open by a hand. There quite clearly wasn't enough space in the lift, but they still tried to get in, squashing the old folk that were in there and making everybody feel very, very uncomfortable. There clearly wasn't any space for anybody else. I was trying to tell them, no. They wouldn't listen. They just kept coming and they just kept coming. But I tried to explain to them that these people were in here first and they deserved to go to where they wanted to go to first. They weren't very happy and they sort of all gave me very terrible looks and strutted off in the direction that I'd come from. Just a little story to show you really how this country's working at the minute, isn't it? There isn't enough space for any more people, especially people who don't understand how the rules work. Good morning, everyone.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
Welcome back or welcome along. It's just gone 9 o'clock on Friday the 26th of June. This is JK on breakfast. We're having fun this morning. It's Fun Time Friday. It's been a hot, sweaty, difficult, miserable week. And that was just Keir Starmer. But listen, for many people, it's just been hard out there grafting as alarm clock Brits try and struggle through. You heard from that chain driver there. Listen, whatever you're doing this morning, wherever you are, we want to hear from you, as ever, on 0344 499 1000. Text to 87222. One or two stories about the favourite today, today is, of course, that Keir Starmer. It was only on Monday. He was the most powerful person in the United Kingdom. He was the Prime Minister of this great country of ours, with his finger on the pulse. A man who could make decisions about, I don't know, invading other countries, raising taxation, giving us a bank holiday. 96 hours later, he's working in a cinema in Milton Keynes serving popcorn. Have a watch.
Popcorn?
Yeah.
Right. Should we serve some up?
Yes.
Right.
We've got a scoop in here for you.
Fantastic.
And then just behind you here, get some popcorn in that box.
Right. As if I've been doing it for years. Right. Who wants the first one? Here we go. Look at that. Do you think that's enough in that? Or do you need to put more? Are you sure?
That's fine.
That's a lot, isn't it?
Yeah.
What's your favourite film? Ah, yeah. Who else hasn't got one? Come forward. What's your favourite film? Yeah, it is. That's provocative when you're being served by an Arsenal fan.
I mean, I don't want to kick a man while he's down, but two things about that. One, it shows the jobs market under Rachel Reeves, as we'll get onto her in a minute, and he's not even very good at that. But it inspired you because you're brilliant, and I was saying, what films? You know, what's your favourite film? We've had Nightmare on Downing Street, The Breakfast Club. Love it. Is Starminator, Lee in Devon, very true. Morning, Carl, how are you?
Morning, Jezza. The only appropriate film I can think of for Downing Street, Starmer and his cronies, is Meet the Fockers. Cheers, mate. Bye-bye.
I don't know what to say anymore. 0344 499 1000. So he's now working as a popcorn salesman, asking people what their favourite film is. Meanwhile, Rachel Reeves, who was, I mean, literally, almost biologically connected to him by the hip. I mean, they never were apart. They were the unit that took on the two most powerful jobs in this country. When it came time for Starmer to resign on Monday, our Rach, who lives next door, was nowhere to be seen. In fact, she was sort of in a Pepto-Bismol coloured suit, somebody said, trying to get a selfie with Andy Burnham, which isn't very gracious. Anyway, yesterday, the brilliant Sophia Ridge from Sky said to Rachel Reeves, give us some advice about being Chancellor. If you're not Chancellor, what would you say? But if you are, how do you go forward? This is the second most powerful person in the United Kingdom answering a question.
What would your advice be to anyone in the future taking on the role as Chancellor?
I'm not sure if anyone wants my advice.
I can categorically tell you, as I look across the screens in my studio, that no other news network is even bloody well playing that video. That is frightening. Of course she should be fired by Andy Burnham. The other thing, which I'm just, you know, you mix into those two, is everybody's been ringing me, telling me that they haven't slept with any clothes on, and seemingly we've started a huge discussion today about how the thing to keep cool in bed with is a bag of peas. Tony says peas are best because they mould to parts of your body and don't stick to you. This started with Kinsey Schofield telling me at 6:45 she sleeps with 4 bags of freeze and pig. But it is also important to say that once they unfreeze, don't eat them. I don't want to be responsible for an Ebola outbreak. Now, it's 9:06. We're live across the UK. Let's make it sensible. Oh, no, let's not. Talks International editor Isabel Oakeshott. Good morning.
I don't know what's going on with you today. Oh, my God, we've had
It's fun time Friday, Isabel. It's too bloody serious all week, mate.
We don't need to do serious. I'm going to put a whole different complexion on this. I think I'm probably the only person in the Middle East that sleeps with a hot water bottle, an actual hot water bottle. It's 43 degrees here most days, but the aircon in most apartments is so powerful, it's absolutely bloody freezing. So every night I go to bed with a hot water bottle.
Do you know, it's really interesting because, of course, the huge outpouring of... what's this?
He's just tweeted in the last half hour.
Oh, this... I'll do that in a minute. It's interesting because, of course, this weather, I mean, you're in the Middle East, it is extraordinary. I'm 60 years of age, nearly 1 next week, and I don't know, I don't ever remember this bad. But, of course, the whole debate about aircon. Apparently, several councils, if you put aircon under Mad Ed Miliband, will come and rip it out because you haven't got a right to put it up.
Yeah, I think it's particularly difficult in older houses. You know, if you're in a conservation area or anything that's listed, which is an awful lot of houses in the UK. Of course, most people's houses aren't. But it was something I was sort of thinking about, because in our home in the Cotswolds, under the eaves in the top floor, I mean, it would be, you basically couldn't be in there in this sort of temperature. But is it worth like a massive adjustment to your whole house? I mean, I guess you can put aircon in one room, but it's a huge investment. It is only for a few days a year. I mean, it's not like we have summers like this all summer. It's a heat wave, folks, isn't it?
I love the way you've got out of the obvious question in the morning by saying you sleep with a hot water bottle. I love you far too much. Well, actually, I'm scared of you to ask you the other, so I won't. But I will say this. Have you ever used a bag of frozen peas to keep yourself cool in bed?
It's just not a problem I have. It's just not a problem I have.
She's very
either
cool.
in the Cotswolds or Dubai. Hey, look, Jeremy, here it is. Here's the proof of the hot water bottle. How cute is that?
Nice.
That's my hot water bottle. I didn't prepare that earlier. It just happens to be sitting on the bed.
Let's talk about so many things. Let's start with the week that was almost. It's Fun Time Friday. I mean, Starmer, I played a clip there, started Monday as the most powerful person in the United Kingdom, and last night ended up serving popcorn in a cinema in Milton Keynes. Do you... I mean, he looked to me by Prime Minister's questions on Wednesday like the shackles were off. I felt that, but I also, I'm afraid, Isabel, didn't really feel too sorry for him when I know how much misery, unhappiness and actually sadness he's brought to millions of people in just under 2 years.
I mean, I didn't feel sorry for him. It's, of course, a human moment when a Prime Minister resigns, but, you know, he will now be feeling quite liberated. I mean, do you remember when Cameron resigned after the Brexit referendum didn't go his way? And cameras and microphones picked him up singing as he went back into Downing Street. Do you remember? He was picked up going do like that. Yeah. And that is probably how Starmer, you know, having now accepted the inevitable, he's probably feeling kind of happy with life. You know, he's busy planning all those holidays and things he couldn't do because it would be politically unacceptable while he was Prime Minister. He's going to totally just be chilling, isn't he?
Were you surprised at this story this week that he's going to stay on as an MP? I can't imagine why anybody would want to stay on as MP, having been Prime Minister. I'd get the hell out of there, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I mean, Prime Ministers take a sort of pretty mixed view on this. I can't really think of many that have been at all active after leaving. Often they stay almost as a sort of placeholder while they sort themselves out. It can be a pretty brutal adjustment, not just to serving popcorn. I remember Gordon Brown, about a day after, or a few days after he was no longer Prime Minister, I think his wife and children, their car broke down on the side of the A1 and they were just sort of left on the verge, you know, calling for the AA. I think sometimes departing Prime Ministers need a little bit of a sort of process of adjustment rather than stepping completely away from the Commons. You know, a lot of them have been in Parliament many, many, many years, and it's a bit like being a version of being in the armed forces. You know, when you leave and you no longer have any of that status, you know, that institutionalization that you get. It is a hell of an adjustment, and some prime ministers, former prime ministers, are better at it than others.
No, I couldn't agree more. You also saw the clip of Rachel Reeves, because what's obvious, and you know this because you know more about the shenanigans of Parliament than anybody I know, they're all running around trying to muster a reason as to why, you know, Andy Burnham should give them a job. I mean, I absolutely agree with what Piers Morgan said last night, and in fact, Julia said it yesterday. The barefaced woman who was positioned there by Starmer, who was almost surgically attached to him, it seemed, at one point, didn't even have the decency to come out of being his next-door neighbour and watch his resignation speech. She was there in her, described this morning by a guest, a texter as a Pepto-Bismol-coloured suit, trying to get a selfie with Andy Burnham. I mean, she has to go, doesn't she, Isabel? Surely she has to go.
I mean, I would have thought it would be inconceivable for Burnham to keep her on. It's just not what you do, you know, because he wants to make a big symbolic break from Keir Starmer's disastrous regime. And it's simply impossible to do that with the same Chancellor. So I would put the chances of Rachel Reeves remaining in the job as about 1 in a million. I mean, that politically, that just isn't going to happen. Chances of Rachel Reeves being liberated not to have to wear Pepto-Bismol coloured suits. Pretty high, actually.
Yeah, I mean, this whole cabinet makeup's going to be really interesting. I can't remember, because I'm getting old and it's hot, whether we had this conversation. I'm increasingly leaning towards the belief that Ed Miliband will be given the Foreign Secretary's job and told to bugger off around the world so he hasn't got his hands on any levers of power. That's what I think will happen, and I think Streeting will be the Chancellor.
That might be a mercy for the nation.
Absolutely.
It might be the least worst option for us all. I mean, you'd like to think there's a limit to how much damage, as long as he doesn't eat any bacon sandwiches anywhere.
Couldn't agree more.
There's a limit to how much damage he can do in that role.
Just also, there was another story, and we've just had a tweet that you can respond to. Shabana Mahmood, who I thought was like one of Starmer's sort of favourite lieutenants, arrived at the Home Office to great fanfare, has actually said one or two serious things, to be fair. But apparently was one of the first to call for his resignation. There's now a massive standoff with her and Starmer because Mike Tapp, the Labour MP and Home Office Minister, Mike Tapp, he wrote an unauthorised article in The Times, actually, calling for foreign care workers to be exempt from her hardline immigration reforms. She went nuts, said he's broken the ministerial code and said to Starmer, get rid of him. And he went, no, sod you, I'm serving popcorn, I've got better things to do. Now, was his comment to curry favour? Was her performance against Starmer to curry favour? We've just had a tweet from Mike Tapp, Labour MP and Home Office Minister. Morning, all. This is picturing, by the way, the Golden Gate Bridge. He's in San Francisco. So it's gone from he broke the ministerial code to he stole my idea. I have put my views across on a policy I've been working on for months. I have the receipts in an op-ed in The Times. Give it a read and let's continue to discuss. I will not be intimidated to drop my views. Stay classy. Oh, and I'm at a wedding in San Francisco, but happy to talk more when I'm back. And I promise that's the Golden Gate Bridge hidden by the fog. He's not back. Is he trying to curry favour with Burnham? Is Mahmood trying to, or are they all just running around trying to knife each other?
What the hell is going on there?
Yep.
I mean, that is... So, remind me, what is his official title? Is he's
Home Office Minister. So one under, Minister of State.
He's a super... Oh, he's a Minister for State, is he?
Yeah. That's second in command.
I didn't know the dripping tap had got to that level.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever rank of minister he is in the
Did you call him a dripping tap?
I did call him a dripping tap. Yeah, he's an absolute drip. Whatever rank he is, this is really a breach of discipline. You know, you just don't go around kind of tweeting like that about your boss and what's going on internally. So what the significance of this is, it shows the kind of chaos that we're going to be facing in the coming weeks as different ministers and backbenchers jostle for position at the expense of their colleagues. I mean, it's a complete kind of...
You look at that, and we were looking at it this morning, and I'm so glad you came on, because I'm thinking, right, I've heard that Burnham wants to water down some of Mahmood's Home Office policies that aren't popular with the left wing. So is that Mike Tapp trying to curry favour with Burnham and stand up to Mahmood? Or is Mahmood trying to show Burnham that she's got a plan and I'm strong and I'm confident and I knew Keir Starmer is a problem and that's why I told him to go and he snubbed me and you're the man? You're right, that is going to absolutely be central to the next few weeks and months. Well, weeks, and that's our government, whilst this country continues to sink on a daily basis.
Yeah, great. I mean, who voted for that? Absolutely nobody. I mean, we're in such a mess that we can't afford to lose days, never mind weeks, to this kind of jostling for position. And particularly not in the Home Office, which has taken to boasting about the number of migrant crossings that it has supposedly prevented in coordination with the French. I'm really dubious about these figures. You know, these boats are still pouring across the channel. We're hearing all sorts of nonsense about, oh, we prevent some, half of them or something like that. I think it's just absolute nonsense. I don't know how that's measured. And I think we need to look into that more. And as this hot weather goes on over the summer, we are going to see more and more crossings. So the Home Office would do better, its ministers, to focus on the day job rather than focus on which bit of the cabinet table they may or may not be sitting around under Andy Burnham.
Couldn't agree more. I'm going to set you the Andy Burnham question, Isabel, that I've set everybody today, because I think it's an interesting question to ask. Given that he was quite literally flown in, I mean, 14 days ago he wasn't even an MP, and his route to number 10 has been, I mean, you'd say, I mean, the most perfect coup ever, as it transpired. Absolutely extraordinary and massively successful, years in the making. And as a result, he arrives in Westminster, I suspect, with 400 Labour MPs bowing down at everything he says and does because they believe that he can save them. We don't need to get into debate about whether he can or not. I want to ask you this. You said this yesterday. I'm interested to take this a stage further. Do we feel, because it's been a real source of debate across the station for 24 hours, do we feel that he has enough political capital or cojones to stop the boats, drill in the North Sea, or actually turn round and say, you know, I'm going to do something about decimating this appalling welfare bill? Because you said it yesterday, and it got real traction, that could scupper other people on the rights, reforms, restores the Tories' ideas. Does he have it? Everybody tells me he can't because he's hamstrung.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just... I actually think if he believed in it, he would give it a go. But unfortunately, this is so divisive in the Labour Party. You know, let's just take stopping the boats as an example.
Yeah.
First of all, I don't believe he believes in it. You know, I don't think he wants to stop the boats. That's not where he's at. This is a guy that's looking at loosening the restrictions on immigration, legal or legal whatever. You know, he's just not... It's just not his character to do something that sort of bullish. And even if it were, the parliamentary party would go absolutely ballistic.
But so let me just hold you at that point. Would it? They can't get rid of him. He has been flown in to save their backsides. Has he got what it takes to stand there and go, it might go against what I've thought in the past, and it might go down like a cup of cold sick with you lot, but we will be extinct in 3 years if we don't cut this welfare benefits bill?
You know, my God, if he did that and did the boats thing and then called a general election, Labour will win.
Yeah.
They will win. You know, likely, I'm sorry to deliver that home truth.
No, but it's true. That's exactly... So why wouldn't you, as a politician, do that, Isabel? Why wouldn't you go, that's fundamentally what I need to do? That's what I don't understand.
Because they don't believe in it, Jeremy. They don't believe in it. You've got to understand that they don't mind about the small boats. You know, they think that that's being hashtag kind and compassionate and British values, and it's none of those things. And secondly, on the welfare thing, well, pretty much the same thing. Yeah. So it's not really, in his case, about not having the cojones. It's that ideologically, this is just not where they are. But politically, if he could make that pivot, because it's what the country wants, then it would absolutely transform the political landscape in coming months. You know, let's be honest, it really would knock a great big chunk out of the reform vote, wouldn't it?
Yeah, so I get it. I mean, it has to be intrinsically part of your ideology to not want to do those things. It's going to be fascinating. I mean, I had quite a few, after I had you on yesterday, I had quite a few debates with Tories who were at pains to stick up for the system that, you know, there shouldn't be a general election. That the only reason there should be this time is because Andy Burnham wasn't part of the party that put that manifesto to the British people. You could have that argument. Millions of people in this country, a survey overnight saying that they do want a general election, but it's not going to happen, is it? He's going to have 3 years, Burnham. I
don't believe it will happen. I don't think that many prime ministers come in, you know, in the well, no one's ever done in the manner that Andy has anyway, but I just don't think that he would want to inflict that on the Labour Parliamentary Party, because yeah, well, I think it's possible that they will do better if they go sooner rather than later to the country, if they call that election. You know, a whole bunch of them are still going to lose their seats to reform. And how's he going to sell that to his MPs, those MPs that have just crowded round him for selfies? I think it's hard. I mean, I still would say there's probably if his bounce goes on for a while, maybe there's a sort of 20% chance that he might go for the election, but I just can't see it.
There was a poll out yesterday that said he's now the most popular Prime Minister there could be, and he beat everybody else. That bounce always tends to happen. It's whether one can solidify and sustain that bounce, right?
Well, it's just, what's that based on? You know, what are people saying? Why is he popular? Because, I mean, that was a kind of...
Because he's got rid of Starmer, that's why.
Well, I thought you were going to say because he's got black T-shirts and long eyelashes.
Now, don't start being all Badenoch on me. Did you see that video of when he went like this? He went, it's blue, actually. Did you see that?
Well, I quite liked it. I mean, I think
here we go.
I quite liked it. I think women will quite like that. Sorry.
No, well, I said the same, but Christian made a comment that I didn't want to talk about, so it was just too embarrassing.
It's the eyebrows, it's the eyes. I think a lot of women are going to be fine with that, JK. And I also think it shows a bit of humour.
Yeah, I agree with that. You can't have seen Starmer doing that, can you? Starmer wouldn't.
It's a bit more fun, you know. I think that was actually good. I know a lot of people have gone all po-faced and go, no, it's not very prime ministerial, whatever. Right now, he's only a backbencher, and he can do that if he likes. So if he carries on with a bit of that, then he's definitely going to pick up the female vote. And as for the others saying, well, he's the most popular to be prime minister over the other potential candidates, it's not based on anything. It's just based on a puff of cloud at the moment. And let's see how those surveys look in 3 to 6 months' time. I mean, I'm really worrying stuff from a business point of view about growing rumblings that he wants to hike capital gains tax, not just by a couple of percentages, which would be bad anyway, because we're in a competition for the best people with countries as close as Ireland, for example, where capital gains is way lower. But that he's being pressed by certain hardish left advisors to hike it right up to 40%. I mean, that is bonkers. You know, that is going to absolutely hammer, the city and all sorts of business calculations, the property market, secondary sales of homes that aren't your main residence, that'll all dry up because people will just sit on them. I really worry about this stuff. And so let's see what those surveys are saying. You and I, Jezza, will make a date to see where those surveys of best, favourite leader or whatever it is, where do they sit in, let's say, 4 months' time?
I completely agree. There will be a bounce, but the reality is that if he doesn't have either the ideology, the political capital, whatever we want to talk about, to make decisions that this country is utterly, utterly demanding, then it doesn't matter whether you look the part or sound the part or have a bounce. The British public will go, sorry, it's not good enough. Because what this country needs is for somebody, whatever their political persuasion... I thought Kemi Badenoch was spot on the other day. Government is about taking unpopular decisions that are right for the country. I don't see that in the last few years. My final question, because it's a hot Friday and I know you'll have a sense of humour. You just said, and I quote, I get that video with Andy Burnham with the eyebrows looking down at his T-shirt. I just want to ask, Isabel, your future husband, Richard Tice, was 2 weeks ago voted as the sexiest MP in the House of Commons. He phoned both you and I within 2 minutes and was full of beans about it at that party. Next year, he'll have the dubious honour of having to probably go head-to-head with Andy Burnham. Does Richard still win, or is Burnham going to go and claim that crown as well, Isabel Oakeshott?
Well, there's a question. My goodness, I hadn't even thought of that. That is alarming. Yeah, that could be a tight competition. I think the thing is, in Richard's favour, he's about a foot taller than Andy Burnham, so I think Richard just has the edge there.
You could be a politician. There's a surprise. Isabel Oakeshott, we love having you on. Thank you for making the effort. As ever, Talk's international editor, the brilliant Isabel Oakeshott, 9:27. We're live across the UK. Alex Phillips here from 10. Ian Collins, the Housewife's Choice from 1. Kevin O'Sullivan, honestly makes me laugh. He's more arsey than me. Is that possible? Morning, Mark.
Hi, Jeremy. Mark from Manchester. I had no clothes on last night in bed. But I didn't need to. I could have wore clothes because when you sleep next to the Ice Maiden like me, you're never warm. Have a good show.
Kemi Badenoch, front page of the Mail on Sunday this weekend, ruling out the possibility of any electoral pact with reform.
But you know what? It's difficult to do a deal with a party that gave us net zero and wrote it into law. It's difficult to do a deal with a party that promised to do one thing and gave us the Boris wave. So for me, it's about trust. Very difficult to trust them.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
Welcome back, 9:30. We're live across the United Kingdom. Good morning, Lillian. Hello.
Good morning, gentlemen. In this brilliant weather and enjoy themselves and get their suntans. Me, nearly 71, are off to work to sweat my proverbials off. Yeah, cheers.
Couldn't agree more, mate. Me exactly the same. Let's go to Stoke-on-Trent. Mike, good morning.
Morning, JK. First things first, if you decide to leave the country...
What?
Can I carry your luggage from the airport wherever you go?
Why?
Because I don't want to stay here. That's a bloody service.
Can you carry my luggage?
Yeah, well, why should I pay for my own airfare? You earn more money than me.
It's not about money, it's about caring about people. Did that sound genuine enough? If I leave, you want to come with me? Christ, I've got 6 kids already. Yeah, you can come with me. That's fine. Now, just stay there, because I'm going to try and experiment, Mike, instead. Just give me a little idea about what you want to talk about, mate.
Well, Mr. Burnham, he's been elected for Makerfield, I think the place is called.
Hold on a second. Just stay there, because I'm going to do something I did years and years ago. It'll probably go hideously wrong. Mike? Stay there. We're going to do blind political date on the radio. Joan's in Sunderland. Hello, Joan.
Hello there.
Joan, what do you want to talk about? Burnham?
Yes.
Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going for a wee, OK? So you, Mike and Joan, you talk to each other. I'm out of it. Joan, say good morning to Mike.
Hello, Mike.
Morning, Joan.
Right, morning. Here's our Joan with a quick reminder. I'm joking. Mike and Joan, you chat. I'm going to the loo. Crack on, carry on, enjoy. Go on.
Oh, all right. Let's hope he doesn't have far to go.
At his age, it might take him a long time to get there. Well, while we're going on about Mr. Burnham,
yes.
He's been elected as I think it's a place called Makerfield, isn't it? He hasn't actually mentioned that since he got elected.
No, they'll never see him again.
I don't think they will. I honestly don't, my love. And it is very nice to hear your accent, because I'm actually going in your direction on holiday later this year with my family.
Oh, where are you going to?
This year we're going Hartlepool.
All right, further up the road than me.
Aye, but it's nice up there, and they're nice people and all.
They are.
Better than these southerners we get.
The what?
Better than a lot of these southerners that we get.
Oh, yes. As I say, everybody's going on about this weather.
Can you put me back on a minute? You two, oi, let's get this right. I thought I'd let you have a bit of fun, right? Sorry.
Yeah.
So you're trying to chat her up, saying you're going on holiday with your family and you want to pop in, and you go to... How can anyone go to Hartlepool on holiday?
Very simple. There's a place up there called the Beamish Museum.
Right.
Yes.
I've got a 10-year-old granddaughter who loves the seaside. She loves what she calls musicals.
Here. Sorry. I think start with the children's...
hold on. Right, Mike, stop talking. Mike's in Stoke-on-Trent. He goes to holiday in Hartlepool, and he hates Andy Burnham and says he hasn't mentioned Makerfield since he got elected. Joan's in Sunderland. You don't like Andy Burnham either, do you, love?
No, not really. I want to know how somebody who wasn't an MP until the 18th of June can be allowed to have information shared with them. Have I missed something? Has he been sworn in as MP?
Well, listen, I'll tell you who might have the answer, because we're going to expand this call out. Dave in Surrey joins the little 3 thing going on. Dave, hello.
Hi there.
Say hello to Mike, who's in Stoke-on-Trent.
Hello, Mike, Stoke-on-Trent.
Morning, Dave.
Morning. Say hello to Joan. Joan's in Sunderland.
Hello,
Joan in Sunderland.
And Dave, what do you think about him getting secret documents given to him? Not Starmer, what's he called? Burnham. Do you think that's a good idea?
No, I don't. No, it's terrible. It's all wrong. I phoned up 3 weeks ago on Mark Dolan's show, and I said nothing's going to change. They're all as 9 bob notes as far as I'm concerned. And the popcorn thing this morning, what Starmer done with the kids in the cinema, I mean, that should be called Pop Goes the Weasel. There you go.
Very good, Joan. Do you want to talk to... Oh, she's laughing at Dave. Pop goes the weasel. It was quite a come-down, peeps, wasn't it, that on Monday he was the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom and last night he was serving popcorn in Milton-on-Keynes.
Yeah, 100%. It's just a fiasco, all of it. Just want to get this country sorted out.
Can you three talk amongst yourselves? I need to go back to the loo. Go on, crack on.
Hey, what's happening here?
I mean, it's getting to a bad state when he has to keep going back to the bloody loo every 5 minutes.
I know. He's showing his age. I'm worried about him.
Yeah, that's right. It seems that way, doesn't it? You know?
Yeah.
Right, all three of you never present a breakfast show. I'm joking, it's great. I love you. I haven't got a weak bladder. Joan in Sunderland, we love you. Mikey in Stoke-on-Trent, Dave in Surrey, we appreciate it. That was a threesome, or a three-way, or a three-ball, whatever. Golf threesome it's called, three-ball, whatever it is. 3 people, blind date politically on the radio. Should we instigate that on Fun Day Friday? I think it's a great idea. 0344 419 1000. Christian just went, break. All right then, break.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
Christian's absolutely dedicated now to making technology in this studio so that in times to come we can have 10 callers on at one time, all shouting at each other. What? Barbara says, good morning, Jez. I was enjoying those callers having a chat until they started to insult us Southerners. Plum King. I mean, what does that mean? He says, Jez, that was funny. It'll get funnier because it's Fun Day Friday. 0344. Good morning, Jeremy. I was in... Oh, yeah, we've done that. Morning, Jez. I was sleeping naked in bed. Oh, God. When the wife said, I don't know what you're wearing, but it needs ironing. Oh, God, that's brilliant. James in Yorkshire's deranged. Do you think that the King of the North told Starmer if he steps down he can have Lord Hermer's job? Can you imagine Keir Starmer returns as Attorney General and puts through the Chagos deal? Gary, Lincolnshire, morning, Jez. The film title for Starmer comes to mind, The Enemy Within. Getting better by the day. Now, TikTok is not something I really understand, but it's where young people do stuff and show stuff, and it's all very exciting. Christian's looking at me like I've landed from Mars. So, there's been some great stuff on TikTok. Tradesmen sharing the hilarious ways they're cooling down as they try to deal with 36-degree heat, or 38-degree heat. We're going to start with Chris Carr, who's the co-owner of Carr & Carr Builders in Grimsby, North Lincolnshire. He's out there doing the business. Morning, Christoph.
Morning, Jeremy.
How are you, son?
Yeah, good, thanks. Here.
You're not out there building, you're in the office. You've got all your little men doing that. What are you doing, man? He's in his air-conditioned office. This is a con job, isn't it?
Can I tell you, Jeremy, we need water wings this morning. It's not so much sun protection. It's absolutely throwing it down. It's
is it?
To clear up. Oh, yeah. It's just clearing up now, but it was hammering it down all morning.
You've become viral on TikTok. Tell me more about how Car and Car Builders in Grimsby, North Yorkshire, a very good building company, by the way, might need a patio done. That's a joke. Tell me how what you've been doing. How do you keep cool in this weather then? How does it work?
The main thing is hydration. I don't think, people avoid the sun when it starts to hurt them. I don't think they realise how dangerous hydration is. So if you don't drink enough, it can be quite dangerous, especially working at heights. So we're encouraging lots of water breaks. We've got fridges full of, through a beer.
Secrets out, see? Stuff, hydration and water. Car and Car Builders, they drink beer while they're on the job. You've let yourself in there.
Not till after 4:30, but yeah, we're noticing starting early in the morning and finishing early and hydrating water during the day. And
have you ever known it that hot for your business? Seriously, pal?
No, but it's not even the heat at the moment. We've had the terrible rain, terrible cold. It's the whole climate is changing for the whole industry. But yeah, this heat is unbearable, really. And
morale as well, because you're right. I was listening to a train driver saying earlier, it's not lack of sleep. It's just it saps the energy from you, the humidity. Building's a proper trade. You're up and down ladders and building sites in all sorts of weather. And yeah, you walk along the road in hot weather and you see them up on the roof and you think, geez, man, they're doing their business, right?
Yeah, I mean, the morale. We bring ice pops in. We have a fridge in here. We keep a lot of cold drinks and nice things. Beer. It's those sort of things during the day. You can't believe what a difference it makes when you take a cold can of something up onto the scaffolding. I mean, to be fair, this week the bricklayers are kept off the scaffolding. It's just been too hot. You can't, you wouldn't put animals out in that sort of heat. So
no, it's true.
Bricklayers are close to animals, but actually we do care for them. And
oh my God, I love it. They earn a pretty packet. A bricklayer's a top quality trade, isn't it?
Yeah, they're on, be £1,500 a week. It's a great trade to be in.
Just to put a couple of bricks on top of each other with a bit of cement, I could do that. Just go like that.
Yeah, I have those conversations, but actually, yeah.
No, is that not right?
In theory, yeah. I mean, I think I could do it, but I don't tell them that, or they might just walk off site. And one thing you don't want to do at the moment is upset any tradesperson.
Don't upset any tradespeople. Listen, mate, really, really good, fantastic. And by the way, if you're in the Grimsby area, what's that? Is that you jumping in water? Fantastic, your builders. Look at that, got a pull from us. Fantastic. I love it. Fantastic. Good man, Chris Carr, co-owner of Car and Car Builders in Grimsby in North Lincolnshire. Now, the other thing is, and this is absolutely true, my father-in-law said to me last night, we went to the beach. He doesn't come from north, he don't speak like that, so I don't know I've done it. He said, we went to the beach and I got a cone with ice cream. And he's 81, so he's used to dribbling. But literally, this is true, he literally put his tongue out and the thing was like, he said literally half of it had disintegrated. So how does an ice cream man keep himself cool and indeed his wares cool? James Ford is Mr. Ice Cream Man. Morning, James.
Good morning.
Oh, he doesn't sound very
all good.
Where are you?
Bedford. I'm just at the van at the moment.
Oh, show me the van. I want to know. Just show me the van. Take the camera. Show me the van. I love. Do we not all love the old ice cream man? The old ice. Do you want to know when I was a kid? That's it. Look at the old ice cream man. Have you still got the screwball?
Yeah, still do the screwball.
Triangular bit of thingy with bubble gum at the bottom. Fantastic. Love that. How do you keep yourself cool serving ice creams in 40-degree heat? I know what keeps you cool. It's the money, isn't it?
No, it's not about the money. To keep the van cool, what I've had to do is take the vents out at the sides and put more fans in to circulate the air of the van. Yesterday, the humidity was so hot, I took the day off because it was just a killer.
An ice cream man took the day off on the hottest day of... That's another line, hottest day of the year. You'd have made a killing, man.
No, it's honestly, the heat was that bad in the van. I had a couple of things cancel, and I decided to put myself first for once and have the day off.
Oh, well, you depressed me. I thought you'd be making an absolute kidding. Now, when I was a kid, which, of course, was a long time ago, you young striplings through there were two noises that we ran out for. The rag and bone man, right? You lot wouldn't know what the rag and bone man was, but also the ice cream man. But I'm that old. 99. I remember when it was 99p, mate. How much are you charging now for a 99?
£2.
£3. Is that with a flake or without a flake?
No, £2, not £3.
Oh, and what about if I want two flakes? Oh, shut up, you lot. Yeah.
I'll give you the flake for free as it's due.
Oh, fantastic. And genuinely, is it a living now? Is it a living? Because ice creams have gone through the roof. I mean, genuinely, I'm not having a go, but they're much more... Everything's more expensive. But is it a living?
I go all year round. I do warm desserts in the winter. And then
you do what?
Summer,
warm dessert?
Warm desserts, yeah.
What's a warm dessert then? What do you mean? What, like apple pie? What?
Cookie dough, waffles, brownies. I can do custards. Yeah, we've had to move with the times.
Mate, that's fantastic. I've never... Has anybody... Sorry, I've only got 15 minutes. Have you ever seen an ice cream man and you've gone up to him and you've gone, I'll have a 99, or you can have a waffle. You can have a... That's a brilliant business concept, that is. Do you still... I don't know how to put this without my producer cutting me off, but in the world that we live in, a grown man in a car playing a bell to get young children to run up and spend money with him is slightly different than it was maybe 30 years ago. And I'm being deadly serious. Has things changed that way as well? And I'm being serious.
No, 100%. You don't have kids playing out football like we used to when we was a kids, because the kids were always your second alarm.
Yeah.
As soon as a van come, the kids would run and just shout, ice cream, ice cream. So it was like a second alarm.
Absolutely.
We've lost that now. So to appeal to our audience is social media, TikTok, in telling people when we're going to be out and about.
Yeah.
And that does help. But you are deadly right. The kids, they ain't out like they used to be.
No, I mean, we used to go in from school and she'd go, and it'd be 3 hours until she'd shout tea, and we'd come in having been in the park and ridden our bikes and done whatever, climbed a tree. Is it still... I mean, are there less and less vans? I mean, I've seen more ice cream shops and gelato and all this stuff. Is it less of a traditional business than it was, buddy?
Yeah, there's less vans. Councils now are licensing in it as well, which is a brilliant thing. But yeah, there are less vans on the streets. But like I said, it is a dying trade.
There's one question that I knew that we were going to ask you when we started this, and it's not embarrassing at all. What is the name of that tune that all ice cream vans play, that every single kid remembers?
Well, mine is Boys and Girls Come Out to Play. But you can get any tunes. I've got It's Coming Home for the World Cup.
Well, it's not, is it, to be honest?
No, it's not.
No.
And, yeah, I've got Wedding Tune.
Have you?
Sweet Caroline.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah.
You are the
Jingle
ultimate
bells.
ice cream man. If I get married again, which I'm not going to because I've done it 3 times, I would have you at the wedding reception. Maybe, Christian, are you married yet? Oh, yes, you are. OK, maybe... Sam, are you married? Ah, Sam's married as well. Neha. If the Italian stallion says, will you marry me, we could get the ice cream van round, couldn't we? James, great. Love it, mate. James Ford, Mr. Ice Cream Man, the man who's moved with the times. You can get waffles now. You could get sticky toffee pudding in the winter. I love it. Morning, Tone.
Good morning, Jez. Tony from Worcester. I'm listening to Isabella, and I've got to say I disagree with her with regards Mr. Burnham. I think he could be Brad Pitt, but if he doesn't stop the boats and more people get attacked and, God forbid, raped and murdered and all of that, looks just aren't going to be enough to cut it, mate.
Listen, you lot are filth, some of you. 0344 499 1000, text to 87222. What about the toffee apple man, Jez? What about the toffee apple man? Are we getting him on? We'll get him on as well. Ice cream is 100% profit. OK. Is it? I remember once interviewing Andrew Broadsword, who set up this is my story, who set up a company doing, you know, like cards. In those days, it was just happy birthday. Now it's happy, sorry, your dog's off work because it's depressed day and all that. It made millions. Talk, a film for Starmer and his cabinet, The Dud, the Bad and the Ugly, from Steve Thatcher, Shoreham-on-Sea. Good man. Film for Starmer. This is good. Lord Ali of the Rings. Ed Miliband, flying around the world as Foreign Secretary, would be the ultimate bloody hypocrisy. Morning, David.
Good morning.
Are you Christian's father? Are you calling from Wales? He's been looking for a while.
No, I'm not.
Oh,
no.
lovely. And what's your favourite ice cream in this heat?
Oh, I think it's have to be a Fab Ice Lolly.
Fab Ice Lolly, is it? Oh, lovely down there. And did you sleep naked last night? Sorry to be honest and personal.
Yep, no problem there.
Yeah, absolutely. And how do you keep cool? Are there any sort of bags of peas or anything crack on with your life?
No, I've got 3 fans in the lounge.
Have you?
Yeah.
Why are you sleeping in the bedroom there?
Exactly.
What you got for me? You going to phone up and say, I love Andy Burnham?
Oh, you've got to be joking. God, don't, please. It's going to get worse. It's going to get worse.
Brilliant. Is that it?
I need some advice, Jeremy, please.
Oh, God, this is where I'm in trouble. OK, go on then.
No, you're not. No, I'm a royalist, but I'm patriotic to Wales and the United Kingdom.
Yes.
I'm flying a Union flag.
Yes.
A Welsh flag.
Right.
I'm also flying the Cross of St. George to support the English football team.
Good man.
But I'm a bit concerned about which ones I can fly and which ones they'll tell me to take down.
Well, basically, you can't fly any. You're going to be arrested. Do you know what? I think actually, on a serious note, and we've had a good laugh this morning, there's the dichotomy. You can see it in people's minds. What am I allowed to do? What am I not allowed to do? The English, the Welsh, the Scottish, not the English, the Irish, the Scottish, the Welsh fly their flags. Palestinian flags, pride flags, all fine. But I will forever have this argument that apparently the only one that nobody likes or feels is divisive or has been captured by is absolute. Let me tell you this, David. Right, I will fly my flag. I don't give a toss if I'm just absolutely going to fly my flag. I don't understand it, and I never will. I think it's an excuse made of just a certain type of people in this country who want to cause trouble, and I'm not having it personally. There you go. Great to speak to you. And you sure you're not Christian's dad?
Oh, definitely. Well, I don't think so.
Maybe we need to bring the old DNA testing kit out of retirement. Thank you so much indeed, David. Look, I've got the biscuit ready for the ad break. I've forgotten that we're still there. Using the will to live today. 8 minutes to 10. This is Talk Breakfast.
What they're ashamed of is the English flag. The Scottish flag, fine. Welsh flag, fine. Irish, everything like that's marvellous. But no. We can't be English. And this has been going on for a long, long time.
He would be Prime Minister of the most toxic political brand in the country at the moment, which is Labour. And that is what we will be battling against.
Our Prime Minister is allegedly attacked by another nation and nothing is said.
This is a reminder that Russia regards the United Kingdom as a hostile power.
across the UK. On DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
Welcome back. Honestly, been fun today. 5 to 10. Not for you. It's been fun for us, though. We've got through 4 hours. 0344 499 1000. Thank you so much indeed for all your calls and texts. Load to get through. My favourite film for Starmer would be The Way We Were. This is because, ladies and gentlemen, last night Keir Starmer popped up at a cinema, a complex in Milton Keynes, serving popcorn to young people and said, what's your favourite film? Also, that bishop upset many people earlier by saying it's OK to fly the St George flag over the Church of England, but you'll have to justify why. I love this. Debbie, does that bishop not realise he wouldn't have his bloody church if it wasn't for that flag? Church of England, clues in the name, idiot. Saving Private Burnham, Gary and Bridges, I love that. That's a good film. Paul from Maesteg. Is this Christian's dad? Maybe not. With your wife being so caring this morning, my wife put out a bowl of iced water for the small birds. The weeny little birds, the small birds. Don't forget to tell her to take a bag of nuts down the park for the hand-reared squirrels. It's only 32 degrees in this HGV on the M25, says Paul. There's only one nut in our house is patently what the next text is going to say. Carry on, Prime Minister. Very good. I love that. Dave and Con, of course. Mr. Kyle Starmer couldn't be in the Breakfast Club because the first rule of the Breakfast Club is you don't talk about the Breakfast Club. That's absolutely true. He genuinely, Starmer, will still tell you that he's created breakfast clubs. Jeremy Badger from Oxford. Why are you called Badger? Driving My Digger. The only movie fit for this Labour mess is Dumb and Dumber. Very good. Badger. Jimmy's in Leicester. Good morning. Back in March, JK predicted there would be a hosepipe ban in June after months of rain. Yesterday, guess what Kent introduced? Mystics. Yeah, Mystic Jez, or Septic Peg, as people call me. Jerry, don't call me Jerry. Anybody that ever texts me and... Now, I've told them. I hate that. Jerry, your clip of Reeves, you should keep it as it will one day have historical value. The first and only time she got it right. No one wants her advice. Good morning, JK. How about for a film for Starmer, Mission Improbable? Have a great weekend. Alison in Kent. Morning, Jez. Richard III was supposed to visit my place of work on Tuesday to meet 30 college students about apprenticeships. Needless to say, it was cancelled 10 seconds after the boring man resigned, so she could disappear up Andy Burnham's backside at the earliest opportunity. Great show. Morning to Claire in the Cotswolds. Jez, am I the only female that doesn't fawn over Andy Burnham and his mono eyebrows? My mum? What? My mum always told me never to trust anyone with a joined eyebrow, as they are, in fact, the devil in disguise. And to sum up this morning, Ian Stevens says, what a show, Little Matt, Vickers, Professor Calder, peas in Tesco's against your private parts, and Isabel Oakeshot's alleged crush on Andy Burnham. Eris says, I used to tell my kids that the ice cream van sound was the child catcher coming and they needed to go to bed to be safe. At which point we say a very good morning to a woman I'd be delighted to share breakfast with. Alex Phillips, hello!
I haven't seen you in ages.
How are you, mate?
I'm very, very well. How are you?
You look well. Have you got a new man? What's going on?
I
know you, Phillips. Look at that face.
Stop it, Jeremy.
How good is
I have
that?
not.
How good is that? Straight away, right? Yes or no? You've
No.
gone bright red. I am so good at this.
That's the sun.
You look great, mate. Are you well?
I'm very well, yeah, super happy.
What's he called?
He has no name.
What do you mean? You don't even know his name?
Shut up.
You just said I'm super happy. Why would you be happy about
Because
being at work?
I live in the beautiful
Look me
part
full
of the
square in the
world
eyes and tell me there isn't a new man. I'm so happy for you.
There's not.
Thank God. About time. It's cost me a fortune to find somebody that will actually go out with you. Babe, great to see you. What you got?
I don't know anymore. News. We're going to be talking about...
Your new man.
Shut up. No, we're not. I can't, Joey, I can't do this. Stop it. There isn't. We're going to be talking about the King releasing all of his taxation. First time that's ever happened. Pays quite a bit, to be fair.
Yeah, I'm joking.
Should we have a general election?
What do you think? And what do you make of Burnham the week? I mean, it's extraordinary. 14 days ago, wasn't even an MP.
I feel like Makerfield has voted in an emoji. Like, who is he? What does he represent? I've been told by lots of people in Labour the man has absolutely got no opinions. He's